Hey, everybody, welcome to, Trash Talk. And I don't know about this week if it's really going to be that much of a trash talk, but I know it probably can get pretty heated, and there's going to be some deep feelings involved. But you know what? We're gonna try not to let our emotions and our feelings really dictate much, and we're just going to go by graphs, facts, and things that are out there and what's happening now. I'm really excited for this week because the last time we were live on Trash Talk with my great producer over here, Mr. Red, he's wearing the best T-shirt ever.
MADUSA,
Made in the
1984.
USA. That's right. Yeah.
OneTrueSport.com. Tell them, Deuce. That's where you get it.
OneTrueSport.com. Our boy Marcus and his brother. How's that? We put
And
Marcus
Paul.
first.
The one time you haven't
Paul.
fucked up the name of the damn website, OneTrueSport.com.
Who, me?
You do it all the time. What do
I
you call
know.
One Sport True?
One sport true. Because I am a sport and I'm truly true. How's that? Fuck.
There we go.
I know.
It says, nice to meet you, don't fuck with me, and it's seriously available, OneTrueSport.com. Shout out to our buddies, Dominic, Marcus, and Paul. Thank you all.
Yes, thanks, guys. I had a little conversation with Marcus about his first match and stuff. He sent me the video of it. It was freaking tremendous. Tremendous.
I thought it was great.
Yes.
And what a dickhead.
Marcus was a dick. So it comes natural. So his poor wife, but I'm sure he's different at home, I hope. And I love the whole thing, the whole shtick. Him and I were talking about, hey, should I go maybe I'll just go as Mr. Podcaster, and Mr., be arrogant and perfect. Perfect. It suits him. He just walks out with the mic and what does he do? He announces the other, player, and just, it's so good. It's so him. It's like he's a real true dick.
Oh, he was fantastic. And then the match was decent too. They put him with a good opponent, a safe opponent, a good first opponent.
Yeah.
And nothing was gonna get out of the way or out of line. It was definitely worth checking out. And do you believe he signed up for that crap again, Madusa? He's going again next month.
No, is he really?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that you mean they let him back?
Correct.
So
he did well enough. You'll have to tell him that they let him back in, but they got to have somebody do the jobs.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And put the ring together, right?
Yeah, I don't think he does that. I don't think he touches the ring, really. He probably, wipes off the microphone, if that, when he's done, and then,
You think about it, though, and we'll get into this thing, because we love picking on Marcus, and we do love what he does for us. He made our graphic tonight, all of those sort of things. If you saw the thumbnail with Vice President Harris as well as President Trump, that was all Marcus, and we do love what he does for us. It's pretty impressive for somebody less than a year in the business to pick up on what he has done so quickly. Even if it is at an independent level, you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and television isn't where you should start someone who's never had a match before. Period. End of discussion. So, I will get to Pittsburgh to see him one day. You should go too, and then maybe we actually meet in person.
And we
can boo him together.
Oh, that'd be so good. But then, no, he would want me to walk him down to the ring. That's the problem. He wants me to be his manager. And I'm like, I don't know. There's a few things we got to do here to fix this first. So
you did that, though, pretty effectively back in 92.
It was, yeah.
Back in 92.
I like what I did at War Games. What do you think?
The climb in the cage. It's my it's my first memory of you, honestly. Climb in the cage, Sting coming up after you. I was 7.
War Games is coming up again, so you never know. I might show up.
We might talk about it on the other show that we talk about that we talk wrestling. Remember? We talk wrestling over there.
Oh, I hate wrestling. No, just
is that your official position? I hate wrestling.
I hate wrestling. That should be my T-shirt. I hate wrestling, but whatever. I love it.
Well, wrestling is somehow less divisive than what we're about to talk about. Somehow.
Well, it has its moments. It has its moments. It does.
Because the politics is what it is.
It is.
Setting this up, we have a vice president who 90 days ago was anointed for the lack of a better word, candidate for the Democratic Party against a former president who believes he was screwed out of the 2020 election and has a very hardcore base of believers that make up about 40 to 43% of his voters. And we can talk about it, Madusa, because a lot happened between the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
The Madison Square Garden, of course, Kamala Harris's final push. So this is your platform, ma'am. I'll help direct the ship, but I want you to lead the conversation wherever you would like to go tonight. And to the chat, we love you. We want you to support us. We want to support you. If you've got comments, we'll put them in. There's no way to bring you up onto the video screen, but I can put your comment up there. And we'd love to have a discourse with you about this particular topic. So that's why we chose it. That's why Madusa is very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about it. And some things are seriously looking to change January 20th at 12 o'clock.
Well, yes, there is. And good, bad, and different. I mean, we know people in this business that is just butt sore, or they're just disappointed. They're disappointed with their own party, or they're just disappointed in the president-elect. And it's unfortunate because a lot of times those decisions make decisions which become bad decisions with themselves, with personal life, business, and I hate to see it go that way, right? And sometimes we jump the gun and we say things that we don't mean only because of the moment. And we're just frustrated, hurt, confused. I get it. I understand. I'm in a business where, you have more narcissistic men than I've ever seen in my life in a business. And so I guess I've learned a lot, being around men because I've learned a lot about how they sleep, think, eat, travel, and they're coercing their background music in their head of bullshit. And so when you learn about, I'm not saying everyone is the same, but when you're in a business, and I'm sure politics may be this kind of the same way in how you get your return on some things, you can come pretty bitter in something. So it's very hard to separate from what people have told you about certain situations or people. And sometimes you just believe the good and bad or the bullshit without your own experience. So this is what Red and I really wanted to do, is bring all of this and, to light in the politic world. Like, I don't know everything. He doesn't know everything, but we have brought a lot of information together, and, from our fact checkers to the mods to Red, myself, and a lot of outside information from people with great knowledge. And we just want to have good conversations. That's all this is. And hear the differences. So to start this off, we started the first podcast with opening to the election, not knowing what was going to happen, but a lot of people had strong feelings of who they wanted to vote for. And I still feel that a lot of it was stifled, that they feel like they couldn't say who they wanted to vote for. Still not as bad like in the prior election, because a lot of people got heckled. They got their car smashed. They were, just violated in every way. And it was unfortunate because I don't ever remember elections being that way. I remember people proudly would say, "Hey, who you voting for?" "Okay, great. Well, good luck." And now it turned violent. So now I see so much for the people that voted one way compares to another, and there's just so much disdain and just hate, where people stop following you, or they can't understand why you voted a certain way. And so it makes you question, is this person good in my life? Will you still be cordial to them? Of course, I will. I mean, if you haven't physically harmed me or you haven't verbally, spoke bad about me because of a choice that I voted for, well then, okay. But I feel that if you attack me or my family personally, then, I probably won't have but a choice to not have you in my life because that's bad. That's your choice if you attack somebody because of their decision. They have those decisions for a reason, and hopefully they did their own due diligence, like I did, he did, Red did, Mods did, everybody, family, parent, whatever. So we're going to get down into that, and how I want to start is the final result, and we're going to kind of skip around but backtrack. The final result, I think what I have seen on one side, let's just say the Republican and independents, I've seen them come together a lot in this election. And I feel that with all of my research, um, my mods gave me, there's a percentage here that I believe it's almost the whole country went, what was it, 60, 70% red? Is that correct? Was it the graph that you had?
The graph I have, yeah, I've got a different graph. So this is your electoral vote breakdown.
Yes.
A lot of red there. So Maine and Nebraska are states that will split the vote. So Trump won one congressional vote in Maine,
Mhm.
and Kamala Harris won one congressional vote in
In
Nebraska.
Nebraska, yeah.
So that's why they're split there. But you can see the blue wall. That's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, of course, Ohio, Illinois, not so much Indiana, all fell to Trump. And 312 to 226. I had it somewhere, but he is up 7 million votes or 6.5 million votes.
Mhm.
So the popular vote, they have flipped the Senate. So 52 senators plus an appointment for JD Vance's seat, or that may be inclusive. They might push it to 53. They have a clear majority. It's not
Mhm.
unbreakable, but it's a clear majority. As of this evening, Reuters was reporting that it looks like the Republicans will gain control of the House as well. So they've got 217 current seats in the House. So the Trump administration will have control of the presidency, Senate, and potentially the House of Representatives, and they have a very favorable Supreme Court thanks to his last tenure in office.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think he does wanna continue to change that, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard.
Yep, so that continues to set that up, and
Mhm.
you mentioned the red.
Yes.
There it
This
is,
this here,
county by county in the country.
the only state was what? Oklahoma. That is
Yeah,
completely red.
so where I'm from, Nebraska, you see the 2 blue dots. That's Lancaster and Douglas counties. That's Lincoln and Omaha.
Right
There's
here, where am I? Yeah, okay, I see it, yep.
there's 99 other counties in that state. Every single one of them pro-Trump. You can see Florida, with the exception of those few counties.
Miami-Dade, you got Orlando, you got Jack, yeah, mhm.
Texas here, look at the southern border that borders Mexico, and we're going to get to a different graphic here shortly. But just look at all of the red down here in the border. Of course, your places, the New Yorks and the Californias, the West Coast, um, they're all going to go for Trump. You notice Illinois right here, very, very red, but um, very, very red. But right there is Chicago.
Mhm.
So that one city is enough to turn it over and turn it upside down for Kamala Harris. Virginia, you look at all this blue. This one called late and was not expected to be um, in favor of Trump for long. Then you take a look at Pennsylvania, blue, blue, blue around Philly, Pittsburgh, but then look at all that red. I mean,
Mhm.
it's an incredible feat. For only the second time in history in a contested election did the did a presidential candidate run the table And what I
And
mean by that,
that was Reagan, right?
well, no, it was
No,
Trump
no.
twice.
Twice
So
it was.
contested election, what I'm referring to is actually a competitive election where the candidates are fighting over these battleground or swing states.
Mm,
Trump won 8 against Hillary, he won 7 against Kamala, and he took back everything that Joe Biden beat him on in the 2020 election. So some of that's inexplicable because
mhm.
you shouldn't. I mean, he lost the state of Georgia, he lost the state of North Carolina. Obviously, Pennsylvania went back the other direction. So a lot of things happened, and he ran that table. And once he won Pennsylvania, the race was over. It was just a matter of time. He also picked up Arizona and Nevada again 3 or 4 days after the election was actually called. So 312 electoral votes to 226, up by about 6 million right now. And all the votes aren't counted. All of the votes are not finalized and tabulated and counted, but he is the clear winner, um, and has a mandate. So,
What does
what is
that
it?
tell you? I mean, I mean, I understand that there's been a lot of, uh, I when I think back to the media on social media or even television, it was so crowded with the Democratic Party and so much of Kamala Harris. It was like, "Oh my gosh." But that was so much money. They were
Mhm,
spending so much money and compares to what Trump spent. And you thought for sure, like, man, she with all of this advertisement and all of the people that she had behind her, sometimes you would think like, gosh, maybe she's got this in the bag or what the hell is happening? But it was just smoke and mirrors. It was nothing. It didn't. A celebrity couldn't do it. A rock star couldn't do it. A rapper couldn't do it. Uh, um, uh, I mean, she had everything on her favor. I mean, even the Swifties couldn't do it. Tay-Tay didn't have any sway. I'm sorry? Okay. And so, hold on, I'm gonna pick up
I'll say, did I leave something out? I may
campaigns.
have.
Yeah.
Those were just my general comments on the election. But again,
Mm,
to your point, Medusa,
yep.
apparently the
Mhm.
number right now is $1 billion the Democratic Party spent to
Harris
get.
campaign raised 1.3 billion. They spent 1.37 billion. Spent a total of 582 million on staff alone.
Yep.
Trump's campaign was 381.5 million and spent 345.4 million and spent 10.4 million on staff. That was the difference. And so to break it down, there was 10 million to Beyonce, 5 million to Megan Thee Stallion, 2.3 million to Lizzo, 1.8, 1.8 to Eminem and 1 for Oprah. And none of them could get it done. And that's what I mean. So I think they were just done that wasn't their ticket for them to vote. They wanted change this time from what was has been or whatever burden, whatever her lingo was, but
Yes, we
um
have all been unburdened for what has been, at
unburdened from
least temporarily.
that's
God
it. All of
bless.
them. Whatever. So um I think that people want to change. They wanted to have that comfort zone. And I think the rhetoric got to people. I think people were starting to do their own research instead of being told that this is the way you're thinking, this is the way it is, there is no other else. And I mean, it all started with the pandemic and how it changed our life. And it was said to me that it was on purpose somehow, some way that Trump didn't win the election in 2020 or whatever, that it was meant to be so he could, you know, see how things, let people learn to see how this really is and to see how it's done and what has been done to us as people. And if you didn't like it, it's up to the people, we the people, to make that change. And they did. They had enough. They saw right through a lot of things that are going to be coming to light. I see more and more stuff coming out about the pandemic. I see more and more stuff coming up, you know, forward about our our health, our food, everything that I've been fighting for, myself. We should never have to pay extra to be healthy. My husband said, to me, he goes, Deb, when you go buy vitamin C at the health food store, why is it $54? Why is that more money just to be, to supplement something? It shouldn't have to be that way, you know, to be healthy. And our country's got it half-assed backwards. So I think people want to see change when it comes to our economic and our health and our food. They don't want to be censored. And they want truth. They don't want to be lied to. They want a safe country. When I say they, I'm speaking of, okay, me. I want a safe country. I want a safe country. And I have my thoughts that, I feel like you should have a voter ID. You should have. I mean, if our son has to be a certain age and you only have to be 18 or this or that, and you have to an ID to fly and blah 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 blah, you need some type of verification that you are who you are and where you live or whatever to vote. You have to show an ID just to get on a plane, for Christ's sake. So a lot of this stuff, people were waking up, and this matters in every which way. Now we can get into all of this. We're just skimming by a lot of things. But so I think that's why a lot of this went red. And a lot of people jump ship from one party to another. And I think the best thing that I saw out of this is that it was so blatant that there wasn't any room to say or fight, like, you cheated, we're doing this, we're fighting back. It took this landslide to prove to people, or to prove to one party, just shut up and you know this is legit. Let's make this happen. I can go on and on. Go ahead, Red. I'm going to get into something here in 1 minute.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so this is a modern day landslide. It is not anywhere close to a mandate Reagan or Nixon received in their day as a Republican candidate. However, the numbers are comparable to what Obama beat Romney by in 2012. Numbers are fairly comparable to what Trump beat Hillary by in 2016. And I have a lot of thoughts on the failures of the Democratic Party, because we live in a country, as I told you 2 weeks ago,
Mm.
that by tradition, not law, is a two-party system. I do not adhere or subscribe to two-party voting. On my personal ballot here in North Carolina, I voted for Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. A two-page ballot, front and back. So I don't vote party lines, as I said, and I mean, I'll say it on the show. I don't care. I did not vote
Mhm.
for President Trump. I did not vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for the Libertarian candidate. In the state of North Carolina, you are required to show your driver's license and/or ID in order to vote. You can also, if you don't have a state ID, go get a voter ID from the election office prior to the actual voting to take place. So we certainly have tightened those things up. Now, something to mention in the voter turnout, um, 15 million people less voted this time than the last time. That is a completely different set of trash talk. But you can think of that what you will. The other thing on the voter turnout, Kamala Harris failed to exceed the number of votes received by Joe Biden in 2020 in every county in America.
Do you think that's an outcome because people feel like she was shoved just because she was anointed into this position?
I think that's part of it. I also think she's a horrible candidate. Donald Trump did not beat Kamala Harris because she's a woman. He didn't beat Hillary Clinton because she was a woman.
No,
They're
no.
horrible, polarizing candidates that the Democratic Party, from their infinite wisdom and knowledge and on high, decided that these are the people that we're going to put to defeat Donald Trump. Trump built a coalition, and the coalition only got stronger in 2024, seen by the demographic breakdown that I have, but I don't know that we're ready to go there yet. But this man is talking about closing the border and appointing somebody like John Human,
Mm,
right, to
John
to
Hope, yeah.
be to be the border czar. And Latino men are flocking to him and voting for him when he is saying deportations at his rallies. He's not hiding what he plans to do. Um, so it's an interesting state of affairs. In fact, just for visual sake, Madusa, I'll bring two things up. First, this is Texas, 2020 and 2024. So if you look at the graph, you can see how
Mhm.
blue the southern border was in 2020, and it got much lighter in 2024. Now, obviously, it's not the dark red you see on the other places of the graph. But when you're starting to talk about border issues, this indicates to me whether you vote Democrat or Republican doesn't matter. The border was an issue in Texas because
Yes.
look at the difference in the way people in Texas voted in
We
those
lived in
southern
El
counties.
Paso for like 8 years, and it
Mhm.
was amazing. El Paso was beautiful back then. Absolutely great. It was voted the number 1 safest cities in the United States, and that was many years ago. And just with friends and stuff still living there, I mean, it's a lot has changed. A
Yeah.
lot has changed. And I can
Well,
see that. I can see why people want to be protected.
yeah. And then here is this one's out of Fox News. I've got a bunch of actually it's ABC 13, or ABC 13, yeah. So this is broken down by race and gender. If you notice the surge Trump received in black men, Latino men, and even Latino women. Now he didn't do so well with black women. He got 1% more than he did in 2020. But you're talking 19 points with black men, uh,
Mm.
15 points with Latino men, and 12 points with Latino women. Again, again, saying he's going to deport illegals and he'll send them all home and he's going to employ Tom Human to do so. Tom Human or John Human?
It is
This
Tom Homan.
Homan, excuse me. This
Yeah.
guy right here in the with the red tie. That
Yes.
is your new border czar, which we'll
And
talk about later.
yes. And he means business. And I'm really glad. And everyone should feel safe. But then again, we're going to get a lot of arguments. Before we start, everybody that's watching and all the channels and programs and outlets, just know that you can tune in here to Queen of Carnage and you can make your comments known here and we can see them. We'll answer them accordingly. It's an open discussion. We're not here to attack, and we don't want you to attack anybody and their thoughts and process of things, because it is a process for some people. So, um, I'm I'm excited for a few things, and of course, I want to get into what you and I discussed earlier about the Trumps Trumps and Harris's, and I want to know, where Harris's policies failed and why they did not get her elected, and where compared to Trump's policies, where a lot of people are still fighting that it is almost parallel to a 2025. His Agenda 47 is almost like Project 2025. We can dig into that a little bit. I've got some, if you look on the spreadsheet, a lot of that is in there and the differences in there.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's not uncommon for these sort of developments. Project 2025 is a futuristic outlook as to what the United States of America could look like. Um, so just as a historical point of reference, and it's not in the notes, Paul Wolfowitz, Dick Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld wrote something called the New American Century post Cold War. So the idea was, what will America look like as the only global power, the unilateral power in the world without a counterweight known as the Soviet Union?
You said this is a book they wrote? No.
This is a document, it's a dossier. It's
Okay.
called the
Oh,
New
okay.
American Century. And it's a political document. And again, it's Cheney, it's Wolfowitz, it's Rumsfeld. So you don't really have to guess what type of bent they're taking in terms of this, but they're trying to fight globalism in many ways. Keep American influence without having to be reliant upon other nations.
Mhm.
Figure out how we can keep our Cold War alliances strong without having to support them so much financially and economically. Well, 2025 is no different in that it is a projection of what people would like to see happen in this country. It doesn't mean it's reality as of yet. Now, there were aspects of the Wolfowitz, Rumsfeld, and Cheney plan that were put into play. There are aspects of it that were thrown out. So it isn't
What year did
entirely out of
this?
the
When was
question.
this? The doc
80, well, they were all part of the Reagan and
Yeah.
Bush senior administration because
Oof.
because Cheney was his Secretary of Defense. So
Yeah.
Dick Cheney, the only man in America that'll shoot his lawyer and get the lawyer to apologize for getting shot in the face on a hunting trip. Thank you, Uncle Dick. I
Oh
love
my god.
Cheney. He's
Has everyone
crazy.
forgot about that?
Yeah, probably. But the bottom line is there's always some political maneuvering and wrangling. Now, the other thing is that elections typically are on a pendulum. So in 1960, centrist John F. Kennedy gets elected, and it is really a pivotal switch for the elections because you're going to see the Dixiecrats become the hardcore Southern Republicans. But he's shot November the 22nd of 63. So LBJ becomes president, launches one of the most liberal presidencies in the history of the United States. But thanks to those liberal ideas, we have things like Miranda v. Arizona, where you're read rights when you're arrested. Griswold versus Connecticut, which reads privacy into constitutional law. Mapp v. Ohio, same sort of thing. So there are benefits that a very active Supreme Court gave him under Justice Warren, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at the time. However, in 1968, following the assassinations of Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, riots in Los Angeles, Richard Nixon is elected president of the United States, mostly because he wasn't facing another Kennedy, because Robert Kennedy would have beat him had he lived past the
Yeah.
California primary. But Richard Nixon becomes law and order. That's his whole thing, is we're going to restore order in the country. So you see a very liberal LBJ, all of a sudden it swings back. That's what's happening in this election. And I'm just laying that foundational piece for this conversation because it's been a very liberal 4 years. We've seen a lot of
Well,
things.
haven't we mainly have had Democratic presidents though? I mean,
Well, I mean, people say that, but 80 to 92 was George Bush and Ronald Reagan. Clinton was 92 to 2000. Bush was 0 to '08. Obama was '08 to 6 or yeah, '08 through 20, no, through 16. Then you had Trump, then you had Biden, now we have Trump again. So not really. It's more even than if you go back far enough, it's more even.
mm,
Now, some people want to cut it off at 2000 and just forget those other presidencies. Um, but
hmm.
you shouldn't. You shouldn't because the Ronald Reagan coalition no longer exists. That version of the Republican Party is dead and gone.
A lot of people refer to it though, you know.
But they're not. Donald Trump
Yeah.
Trumpism is not Ronald Reagan coalition in any way, shape, or form.
No, no. In fact, I think Trump has a lot of Democrats, surrounding him this time. And I think it's I just I feel that maybe a lot of his supporters are Democrats and they made it known. People on his cabinet, a lot of them are Democratic or libertarians. I mean, it's kind of refreshing than just having it one way. I know a lot of people may disagree, but I mean, people have amazing minds. It doesn't, from all parties. So I feel like it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. People are just going to be against it because they're all,
We're
Of them
we're
think
gonna
they're
break
just
that down
bookends.
because I
Yes.
100% disagree with his cabinet picks.
Yeah, you told
At
me you
least
did not. You
the
don't like
manner,
his cabinet picks
not
at
not
all?
not the manner in which they're being done. No, ma'am.
Really? I'd love to find out why. Well, since we're on the cabinet here, so Trump picked director of ICE Tom Homan,
Yeah,
which
let's talk about this guy. You talk about polarizing. He's going to be polarizing. This one right here. This is Tom.
why do you say he's going to be polarizing? Because he's going to get some things done that needs to be done that has been walked over.
Because he's going to enforce laws on the books that have not been enforced since the 1960s.
So that's polarizing. So that's a really strong word to say. Why don't you just say it's going to be the law that not the law. It's going to be we got to have some type of oh, what's the word? Order. I mean, because we haven't had it. The border's been basically open, and we're going to get deep into that. How do you feel about families and separating the kids or this or that? There's a lot that goes into this. Number one, I think the worst people that have crossed the border, that are just, violent and they need to go. And then, I think they're going to trickle on down. I don't think he's just going to go in and say, "You're all out of here." I think they're actually going to, do their work and they're going to pick the bad people first
He
and they're
gave
going
him
to go down
60
the
days.
line.
He gave him 60 days to pack their shit, ma'am. That's what he said. Made me laugh. Just
Heck,
because of the way he said it. It was the way he said it. It wasn't because
but do you
good.
want to, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, it's okay. Take a couple weeks, find your stuff that we gave you. Make sure you put the phones in the cardboard box when you cross the border again, when we boot you out. And do you want it to do soft? Because it's not going to happen. You're going to have to put law and order in order and make it stick to get people to believe you. You're going to have a strong leader in every department, or people aren't going to take you serious at all. What do you think? I mean, there's a point about being a good leader, not a dick. I get it, because being a dick as a leader, no one's going to respect you. Okay, but there's also getting things done.
Mhm. Yeah, so the Trump directive, the reason that the Democrats were talking about, autocracy and that sort of thing is the language and the manner in which these people speak, including the new czar of immigration. Let's face it, and we're going to talk
Was
a lot about this. The immigration laws suck. They're old, they're outdated, they're not
Yes,
enforced. We are more willing to supplement and support people who do not have citizenship in this country than we are to help
yes.
the people that live inside the borders of this
And what
nation
about the people
legally.
that do want to come here and need the help? Okay, you have to do it right. You have to do it correctly. You have to go by the laws. None of them did.
It's
They
an
all
unpo
raced the border.
Well, it's an old thing, as particularly the way they deal with some of these folks. Um, you're older than I am, ma'am. Don't take that the wrong way, but I'm going to use something that everybody knows in terms of pop culture. Pablo Escobar.
Yes.
Reagan declared war on drugs in the 1980s, and the idea was they're going to stop the cocaine trade from coming into Colombia. The problem is they gave the money to the Colombian government that was actually owned by the Colombian cartels that were enforced, the the army worked for the cartel. Therefore, they ended up actually doubling the drug business in the world, this side of the world anyway, using the United States' own money. That's why it was such a catastrophic disaster. So my point is, obviously you've got these people. Why are they coming in these mass numbers? Why are most of
It's
these illegal immigrants
dangerous.
coming? It's because
Why
of
do
the
you think
danger.
why do you
It's
think the whole line of Texas turned red? They're fed
Yep,
up. Their families got, I mean, their
yep,
homes got invaded. Their families got killed. People, I mean, animals. Can we do something here? Hold on one second.
yeah.
I am
This your world. We just live in it, ma'am.
How do I share a screen here? I can't. How can I share this screen, Digi?
Go down to present
Oh,
in the
present.
middle,
Yes, sir.
and then where it says share screen, hit
Yes, sir.
share screen,
Yep.
and then click on whatever you want to share.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All
You
right.
should
So
have
let's
the
just.
privileges, like the authority to do
Gee,
so.
thanks. All right.
Well,
So
you
let's
you
just.
own the channel, ma'am. I'm just
I
saying.
know. I just want to make sure here. All right, so let's just look at this for a minute. So we're going to start here. All right, so if we can just do this, all right, and we're going to play this. Let me know. Can you hear this?
And the memo.
Yes.
I hear it just fine. Yes,
Tolerance
ma'am.
memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation,
I recommend a zero tolerance.
which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
See? So
You're speaking of Attorney General, but go ahead. Go ahead, Deuce.
well, this is just one. So, I mean, there's one. So I'm going to do this.
Oh, you got another one. Okay.
Yep. Hold on.
Yeah, Homan is a very, very soundbite friendly character for the good and the bad.
Oh, save it. Hold on.
You know he is.
No.
She was trying to get him to say that his policy is 100% child separation for those of you playing along at home, and he would not commit to that, but he did give her a very good instance. So, here we go.
So this is Homan. It's incoming voters suggest criminal aliens self-deport. We know who you are and we're going to come and find you. So what's wrong with that? Anybody they know, most of them, probably 80% of them are here illegal and did not do it legally. So here's a nice little read for everybody. And he says here.
Criminals and gang members get no grace period. But while we're out prioritizing the public safety threats and national security threats, if you want to self-deport, you should self-deport because, again, we know who you are and we're going to come and find you. So if you want to self-deport, that's fine. But criminals and gang members, they get no favors from this administration. You came to this country legally, which is a crime. You committed crimes against the United States citizens, some heinous crimes. You get no grace period. So
look at all these people.
But for those others, the non-criminals, if you want to self-deport, I'm all for it. Because when they self-report, they can put their orders, put everything in order, their family business, if they got homes or whatever, they can put all that in order and leave with their family altogether. It makes perfect sense for the ones that are not criminals.
How are they going to get home? How do they get home?
Well, the ones we're going home, the rest of them won't put on an airplane and send them home. And the ones that want to go home on their own, they found their way across the world to come to the greatest nation on earth. They can find their way home. Either that, or I'll give them a free airline ticket that we put them on our airplane and we'll take them home. It's either way. It's up to them.
Yeah, they found their way here, so find your way.
They come on our airplane, Sean. If they want to go on their own airplane, I welcome it.
Okay. So there you have that. Okay. And so under President Obama, Homan was appointed as the executive associate director of ICE's enforcement, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And removal of operations, overseeing the agency's deportation efforts, etc. And then
I'm pretty sure I don't have this wrong. I didn't mean to cut you off, Deuce, but Obama deported more illegals than any president in history.
Well, he was there 8 years and was given a fair chance, and everybody voted for him, and there was no uproar or problems prior, before, or during, or riots or burning or, stealing and blah, blah, blah. It was a very smooth transition. This is a different time. He hasn't had the time. He did not get the rush of people in like this either. This is all going to be put on Trump's you know, uh, or his whole department. So he's going to have to, deal with this big problem. Obama
Mhm.
didn't have this problem. He did not have this problem. He may have had the biggest deportation up to that time of whatever that number was, but this one will probably be bigger than that because there's more people that came across. And at that time, I don't try he's not going to take people that have the green cards or this or that or people to become legal, but they're definitely going to look into it and how they crossed here and why and go through it efficiently, hopefully, right? Hopefully. And the people that do need it, God bless them. Then yeah, why not support that? But again, if they were coming across the way they were supposed to, I mean, I know a lot of people in this country and business that did it the right way. And it took them years and years, not just pack a bag and have people pay for a bus ride to get you to a certain place in Mexico so you can cross, over. That's just people work too hard here in the States for that kind of stuff to happen. But I think America and everybody is open to the fact that they support people that want to come here and that want to work and do their part. I don't have any problem with that at all. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was just saying he did the most mass deportations, and then Donald Trump gave a 45-minute "I'm running for president" speech in front of his gold elevator talking about how horrible immigration was. Now, 4 years
maybe it
later,
was.
we've had all but open border policy by the Biden administration, and I mean, I'm not a fan of the Trump administration, not a fan of the Biden administration, but at the end of the day, there is a way to secure a border. There is a way to have a path to citizenship. We've talked about this before. If you've lived in this country for 10 years, you're more American than you are anywhere else you were before. So just go ahead and become an American citizen. Holman has a very valid point for Cortez, who has absolutely no idea what she's talking about versus somebody who's been in the immigration field for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
The federal statute does read that it's a port of entry. If you
Yes.
come into this country by way of Coyote, you did not come into this country legally. If you cross
Correct.
the Rio Grande at night and jump the fences and risk your life to make it into the United States of America, that is not a port of entry. Federal law will not protect you. And what he's saying is they're going to enforce it. What I was saying is there's going to be a lot of upset people that a 50 and 60-year immigration law is finally going to be enforced. Can they do it? Probably not. That would be my honest assessment of the situation with immigration in a country of 350 million. You probably can't. At the root of the problem are drug cartels, are traffickers,
Yes.
are sex
Trafficking
traffickers, drug
children.
traffickers,
Oh,
all of it. Those are the people that you need to go after. Unfortunately, the corruption of the Mexican government, again, being owned by cartels, supported by the military, being patsies for these people in power, ultimately, that is the genesis of all of these problems. Because quite frankly, I wouldn't live there either. The CIA says second most dangerous country in the world is Mexico. Number
and I've
one
been there so many times.
Syria. Number one is Syria. Okay.
Syria.
So
Jesus.
we have to be very, very careful with this. Now, he's going to have the benefit of Congress. He's going to have the benefit of the Supreme Court being friendly to the
I hope
Trump
he does it
administration.
right and not just a total dump and just I hope he does it right and delicately as far as people that need it, and just don't, just because you crossed. I mean, then you got to sit there and try the time, the money, the people on the ground trying to find all these people, it's just, wow. The money that's going to take to even straighten this out again, paying for some other administration's mistakes. Here we go. Isn't that what each administration do? Try to they want to come across the hero and clean up the past person's mistakes and, look like the hero, I guess. But this does need to be cleaned up. Absolutely. And again, going back to the beginning of the podcast is that this is probably one of the heavy reasons why Trump got elected.
Absolutely one of the biggest deciding factors. And
yeah,
one of the things I would say to you is he has been given 60 days, according to Homan. The president of the United States has given him 60 days to get it done. So every
Well,
interview,
I don't know about get it done, but at least get it going, get it done, meaning get that
That's
first
not.
step,
That's
that
what
first
he said on
abortion.
TV.
Well, you know,
was
they're
get it
being
done.
sarcastic in that way. There's no way they're going to get all that done in 60 days. Anyone that believed that shit, that's just strongman words. That pisses me off that they even use stuff like that, because people, like, some people believe and take that statement true and then use it against the whole administration.
Which
I don't
was
know.
my point, to which I was going to say that's a very unrealistic expectation
Yes.
to dealing with the 70-year broken system.
Yes. Yeah, I
Because
agree with you.
immigration in this country is broken.
I hate when they
Um,
use shit like that. Get it done in 60 days. That's it. Boom.
Yeah.
Hey, if we come across, like, well, I guess they did. Okay, then shame on us. Whatever. But there's no fucking way. There's no way.
No.
Second one is Secretary of State. Unless you have anything else on Homan, except he's going to be a
No.
pit bull.
I think, yeah, we're going to talk about him again, I'm sure, if we continue to talk about politics of the election on this show, or
Yeah,
what
intermittently
happened.
we will. We'll do another roundup after January or something to see what happens.
Yeah.
Secretary of State, Senator Marco Rubio.
Yeah. Senator retired.
Yeah. He's not my favorite. On Rubio, I just think he's a bit of a, oh, there's probably people yelling at me, but I don't, this is my thought, my thing, my whatever. I think he's turned on the Republican Party a little bit. I think he's a little bit of a rhino, but there's a little bit of trust issue with me with Rubio.
Yeah, I love Rubio. Rubio was my guy in 2016,
Oh
and
boy.
he got embarrassed and beat by Donald Trump, and that's fine, because
Okay, so he ran for president.
So
Yeah.
the media we're going to talk about, I'm sure, sucked all the oxygen out of the room by only talking about Trump when there were 16 other candidates in that particular primary,
Mhm.
because it's convenient for Trump to blame the media, but only when it's convenient. So the mainstream media put Donald Trump in office, or certainly influenced the outcome of the 2016 election. Nobody can ever deny that. Because again, he sucked the oxygen right out of the room. Marco Rubio was far better poised, in my opinion. Now, this is something I like about this particular pick. He has a hardline stance on the Middle East. He also has a harder line stance on China. This is going to become very thematic as we walk through these people and what they believe and what they think. I don't think that a hardline stance against China is beneficial in any way, from a military and geopolitical consideration. Economically, you can talk tough all you want, but it is what it is. So
His achievements included the spearheading the bipartisan the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. So, and championing sanctions against oppressive regimes. So I've got a little take on him if you want to look at it. You cool?
Yeah.
All right, and then you can gloat on him more.
Yeah, well, like I said, Rubio was my guy. And it's okay. I mean, he's Secretary of State, a younger person.
Yeah, and here it is. I don't know. I guess him and Trump have gotten along. Here it is. Leading the U.S. Department of State, tremendous responsibility, and I'm honored by the trust. The trust President Trump has placed me in. As Secretary of State, I will work every day to carry out his foreign policy agenda. Under the leadership of President Trump, we will deliver peace through strength. I think that's the new thing, peace through strength. I think that's their model thing. And always put the interests of Americans and America above all else. I look forward to earning the support of my colleagues in the U.S. Senate, so the president has his national security and foreign policy team in place when he takes office on January 20th. I mean, that's very well said, like you said, very well spoken, eloquent, which he does. He keeps his cool and his poise. And then everybody, don't let America down. I don't agree with Trump's pick. I think you're a swamp. There's just so many. I want to know why people think this way as well, but they seem to have an okay. But Trump is no dummy when it comes to, he remembers everybody that says things. And I think what I was saying before is him not getting elected again after it gave him time, because if he would have stayed elected, he would have had the same swampy people. We didn't have the Senate, barely had the House, and it was just a disaster, right? And this way, you need to fail. You need to have this happen so you can see who's loyal to you. You need to see who's going to stick around when shit hits the fan. And that's exactly what happened. And now he knows a lot more. So I think it was a good thing that this happened to Trump. Sorry, buddy, but it's just the way it is. And yeah. This guy.
Muchísimas gracias. Parece que estoy contaminando todo el universo.
Yeah, I have no idea who that guy is.
El Peluca Mielia.
It's a different, much different pick than Rex Tillerson, the head of ExxonMobil.
No me lo consiguieron, pero vamos a usar en permanente.
¿Con este o con este?
Yo creo que con este sería mejor. Si quieres, lo ponemos ahí para no.
Oh, it's so good. I have no. Wait, who's El Peluca Melia? Tell me, is that not the. Okay.
¿Viste?
Quedó genial.
Y no lo voy a vender en
Is he from Mexico?
Es que ahora vale menos.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from.
Sounds familiar. I am so stoked that Pete Hegseth is a Trump's team. Yes. Does anybody out there in the team know who this is? I know his name. He looks familiar.
Interesting choice that we're focusing on immigration. And he also speaks Spanish too.
I was just going to say that it's great that he speaks a different language as well. Well, Rubio, come on. So
Yeah.
tell me why else you gloat on him. Just because of that? Is that it?
He's very well poised. He's very well spoken. He believes what he believes. He's not very much going to compromise on those. He's actually a politician with the understanding of the inner workings of the government, whereas Rex Tillerson, who I actually don't have any sort of problem with, was a businessman, a global businessman who worked for an international company. And it looks like he's a journalist.
He's a
by the way.
journalist?
It
Okay.
looks like it. I pulled him
Okay.
up and he's yelling a bunch of. It's in Spanish, so
So he must be from Mexico or Puerto Rico. Who knows?
he almost has 2 million subscribers.
Jesus. Okay.
Denme
Well-
la libertad o denme la muerte. So
Javier, what? Did you? Yes, I can hear you.
oh, that's the fact checkers again.
Yeah,
so-
fact checker. I can
Yep.
hear you, Digi, but yes, I knew it. I said president, but he is the president of Argentina. That's who
Oh,
it
is he?
is.
Okay.
Yes, I knew it because I remember seeing like God. He kind of looks like a rock star.
We pull him up on YouTube. He looked like a news guy. But I was just looking at the thumbnails.
Thank you, Dig.
Yeah, president of Argentina. Gag me. Anyway,
He's a rock star.
they're all a bunch of banana republics. So,
Oh,
or they,
fucking A.
you
Oh
know
my
they were.
God,
Don't-
please. Oh my! Someone throw me a fucking banana with some chocolate on it for this
got her
guy.
going.
Oh, are you barefoot? Just
No,
need-
God
okay.
no.
fucking
God, no.
whatever.
She asks
Okay,
me every show. That's a running joke.
It
No,
is.
I think Rubio's fine. He's also going to be far less of a pain in the ass if he's on Trump's team. And
Yeah, because he
he-
cried. That's it. He just came across as a crybaby to me. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
and he's 6th in line for the presidency of the United States now, according to the secession of powers.
He'll never be president. Okay. So,
But he'll
let's-
be at the State of the Union.
Okay. Next one. Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem. Yes. So here, this is an interesting pick, but a good pick. Perfect pick, really. But I mean, so much for Trump not surrounding himself with smart and, intelligent women. So there's that.
Well, we skipped his chief of staff. That was the
No,
best
we're going to
pick
get
so
there. We're
far.
getting there. I've just got this shit all over. So it's not whatever.
Oh yeah, Susie's next. That's my bad.
Yeah, Susie's next. she could have been my mother. I would have been happy. Anyway, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She aligns her policies on immigration. Governor of South Dakota deployed the South Dakota National Guard to the U.S.-Mexico border to help. That was very cool. What else? Gnomes has some thoughts on the policy here. Hold on, let's take a listen. All right, here we go.
Our country, it's an unsafe situation, and the president
All right, here we go.
almost 10 million people come into our country, and we've got a lot of people that have been on the terrorist watch list, dangerous criminals that are coming into the United States who do not love us, that we're allowing to enter our country. It's an unsafe situation, and the president can be the one who stands up and shows leadership at this time. Change your policies, build a wall, secure the border.
Governor,
and then
President
let's fix
Biden
the
is
immigration policy,
negotiating.
but we
He
don't
didn't
have
want
to
to do any
compromise
of
one to
this.
do the other.
He's negotiating because this is what Republicans
But he
wanted
has
him to do. So again, why not take the W? Why not
What
take
has he
the
done?
win?
What has he done? He's done nothing as far as actual policies and actually using the
talking about
tools he
Biden.
has. I sat 2 days ago with people that work for him that said this president is tying our hands every single day. He does not let us do our job. This president, we work for him, we work for the federal government, and we hate it. We hate our jobs and we hate what's happening to this country because he will not keep us safe.
Again, there are lots of reasons why the immigration system is completely broken. One of them is that the United States Congress, which is supposed to make the laws of the land, has been completely frozen on this for decades. Governor, thank you so much for coming on and talking about.
So what do you think about that?
Dana Bash isn't completely wrong, but again, they haven't retooled the immigration system since they got rid of the quota system back in the 1920s and made it unofficial. In the 1960s, well, in the 30s, you have the issues with Jewish immigration pre and post World War II, especially in New York City, and they really haven't done a whole lot since. Now, if you want to be Europe and you want to have open borders, that's not for us. That's not here in this country. They have the ability to travel from place to place to place to place to place, and they've had an encroachment, and then they have racial tension, and all you have to do is look no farther than France, and you can see what type of open border policy has resulted in France. I don't really care about Homeland Security because it's Homeland Security, it's the Department of National Intelligence, it's the CIA, it's the Homeland Security was created post 9/11, the Homeland Security Act. It was another bureaucracy. We're going to get to the boys that are supposed to trim the fat here soon enough. But again, and this is going to be thematic, it's another Trump ally, not somebody who's going to challenge him.
Did Biden have all Biden allies?
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Okay, I digress. Okay,
you can be a smartass if you want, but that's a problem in government.
Okay, that was my point. They both do that, and I hate it. That's why I said this administration is good to see a lot of Democrats being chosen for a lot of different positions where it's never been done. I shouldn't say never, but I mean more so.
No, Lincoln surrounded himself with the greatest set of, and they call it the rivals, the greatest minds that he could possibly have that were his political enemies as well as allies. That is how government should be done in a country of 350 million when the Trump brand is not representative of 350 million people. It's just not. It's not representative.
Well, by the graph that you put up,
Yeah, in the most
87% may choose. They just want to see. Maybe they're not still joining this, but they just chose him because they want change. Maybe they don't agree with all of these people that he chose for his cabinet, but they're going to hope to God that it works. Okay, a lot of them are not even going in depth like you and I do, and all of your knowledge, which tripled mine. So
you're so nice to me after I fussed at you. Look at you.
Because we're not here to.
No, but my point is I would have liked to see a lot more diversity in terms of ideological positions, philosophies,
Well, we're not done yet.
backgrounds.
All right, let's go to one of my favorites. And another strong woman is the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. She's a very seasoned political strategist in the Republican Party, and she began her career in politics in the late 70s. She later worked on Reagan's 80 campaign and served as a special assistant to the president in the executive office of the president from 81 to 82. So this woman knows her shit. She's been around, she knows this. And she also ran Trump's campaign, right?
16,
For this one?
16, 20, and 24.
Yeah.
16 in Florida, 20 nationally, 24 nationally.
Can you imagine with the shit she put up with? I mean, that's a very strong woman. So,
and
yeah,
historic, the very first female chief of staff in the history of the country.
That's right. You did point that out. Very first one ever. So, okay, great. I think it's, well, let's see what she can do. Right. She's very strong, and she's done this so far. It speaks volumes. So let's see if she can keep him in line and do her job. So
yes,
she also served as,
ultimately she's got to be the sentry. She is the gatekeeper. She is the person that's going to give you or deny you access to the president of the United States. She sets the calendar. She sets the agenda. Make no mistake about it. She has an extremely important role in the government of the United States of America.
See, that's why I don't think she's going to be. I think she's going to be more what you want, more than you think so. Because Trump has even said that, they've, you know what I mean? So this is the person, he chose that he wanted. So I'm very excited to see all of this. Definitely. I don't know any more about her. Who else? Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. I don't know much about him except just the information I have here. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, so I have a very bad point of view on Stephen Miller, who gave a speech after Trump beat Hillary in 2016 at the National Policy Institute and ended it with what would be considered by many a Nazi salute after 45 minutes. So not really interested in seeing Stephen Miller in the government at all.
Yeah, why would he pick him?
Because he was in this government before. He's a loyalist.
He's a loyalist.
He's a loyalist.
Is he good at what he does?
He's a policy creator.
Okay.
And he's an enemy creator in many ways, accentuating what the liberals do and don't do. If you noticed here, and thank you to the people that put our notes together behind the scenes, your mods.
Yeah, they're
played a pivotal role in crafting and promoting Trump's immigration policies, including proposals for significant reductions in legal immigration, aggressive deportation. He also involved in Trump's inaugural address, helping to shape the America First rhetoric. So, for those of you who may have forgotten, in 2016, Trump
America First, that's right.
Trump gives his speech, and everybody was panicking because an inauguration speech typically has been very upbeat, very uplifting, and Trump is talking about the grave state of affairs in the United States of America. This guy was the author and architect of the speech in the language.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He's also founded America First Legal, an organization described as a conservative counter to the ACLU, which has come and gone, or should have. Group focuses on legal challenges against what it perceives as leftist policies, corporate wokeness, and issues like immigration and election integrity. Anybody wanting to talk about election integrity, working for a candidate, I have a hard time buying whatever it is you're selling. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You can take your integrity and you can shove it, because it's all garbage. It's just words. It's not reality.
That's word salad, if any.
Yeah. So not a fan of Stephen Miller. They should have left him off.
We do have the link of his speech, but maybe we shouldn't play it.
But he's a loyalist. That's it. I mean, he's a loyalist to Trump. And again, I'd like to see some challenges to the man who's going to run the country, but it is what it is. And quite frankly, we didn't get to this part, and maybe we'll get to it when we run through these, because I guess we need to pick up the pace because I'm talking too much. The Democrats asked for this fucking, and we'll come back to that.
Okay. All right. Well, again, that's what I want to get into. There's tabs down below about for all of that, what happened? Why did it happen? Why did people turn on, the Democratic Party? It's almost like they fed the rhetoric of, pushing, boys into girl sports. They pushed men into the dressing rooms. They pushed, and America doesn't want that, yet. I understand a lot of things, but that's not what they wanted. And they basically on CNN, Jen Psaki said that, like, we just didn't get it. We were shoving something down where half the world, half the United States did not want. And that's all we heard. And, it was all about abortion. It was all about this, and it was all about that. And it's not that those policies are not important, but what was really important was feeding their family. So, and that's, and other things, of course, what won. So sorry, I didn't mean to keep going, but yeah.
No, you're fine.
Treasure, wait, before we even start, go on. There's, is there anything else on him? We have that video we could play, but it's all that Hitler, what you were saying. And I don't,
Well, yeah, he's got very right-wing tendencies to the point where he's ultra conservative. People have painted him as a fascist. Look, I don't throw
he's
that
about as
word
bad
around,
as governor of California.
But him and Steve Bannon, very close.
I cannot.
If that helps you out.
I do not like Steve Bannon.
That makes two of us. I don't. Yeah.
I should say I just don't care for him. And for some reason, for some of the reasons that we can get into later, but yeah. Who else is there? Okay,
Mike
so
Waltz.
Wait a minute, did I miss one?
No, Mike Waltz.
Yeah,
your
Mike
National
Waltz.
Security Advisor. Yeah.
NSA. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah. So he's the first member of the U.S. Army Special Forces Green Berets. So to be elected into Congress. And if you notice, he has a lot of military people that he has chosen. Yeah. And okay. If that's their role and they're good at it, then okay. If it's like a merit, you know what I mean? It's like, you do the job, you know your stuff, you have your degree, you've walked the walk. So why not? So anyway, his military service included over 24 years in the U.S. Army and National Guard with multiple combat deployments in Afghanistan, Middle East, and Africa. And he has served as a defense policy director in the Pentagon, as a counterterrorism policy advisor in the White House. So I think he's a pretty important dude. Do you know much about him?
Not much.
Me either. Mm-mm.
And it looks like, another more hawkish, obviously, expertise in the Middle East. That's certainly going to help, especially with what we have going on now.
He's taken a really hardline stance on immigration, so that's going to help a lot.
And he's been critical of the U.S. military aid to the Ukraine. Shocker. Suggesting the European nations should take more responsibility, has expressed skepticism about the U.S. commitment to NATO unless allies meet their defense spending targets. Who does that sound like?
Ooh,
honestly, it sounds like Donald Trump. He said the same thing about NATO, that they
maybe that's where he got that from,
and pay some of their, exactly. And if you're following a party line, that's okay. I'm not criticizing them following the Trump line.
Well, they're keeping it in,
but they're towing it for sure. But wasteful spending, what does that sound like? The military wasting money?
I think keeping our military strong is not a waste of money, though. I don't. Do we need it? I don't like going to war. I think war is just a money monger bullshit situation.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Eisenhower warned of the industrial military complex when he left office in 1961, and he was not incorrect. So,
Well, again, like you said, military does waste a lot of money, and I think Trump and them are going to clean it up. They're going to clean it up in areas. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to play you something.
your boy, Elon.
Yeah, the Doge.
We're going to clean up, we'll get there, but we're going to clean up bureaucracy by creating another department that didn't exist 2 days ago. Congratulations, guys.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
This,
Ready?
Mr. Secretary, is a bag of bushings. This bag of bushings, stamped out by machinists, they need a high school diploma. It's not anything high tech about this. All of this bag is compliant with the FAA specifications. How much do you think the Air Force pays for this bag of bushings?
I don't know, Congressman.
$90,000.
Such it's like the hospitals. It's like our medical.
Yep.
Bag
exactly
of
what it is.
that you need for any jet turbine engine just to operate. So the exorbitant cost due to
Such
DoD
bullshit.
only buying commercial parts from the OEMs, which is essentially sole source, is literally driving us out of business. I mean, the interest on our debt alone is now exceeding, for the first time in American history, the entire defense budget. This, Mr.
That's what I mean. I think that they're going to clean up the bullshit on the back end. So that was a great example. Thanks, Mods, for finding that video. That's a great example of how our medical system is. You're in the hospital and you ask for an aspirin. How much is it?
$90.
$90 to $200 for a damn aspirin. It's the same thing, and that's another thing. I can't understand that. That wasn't even a debate hardly. This medical system is thank God for our military medical. That's all I can say. Thank God for my husband, because I don't know how people can do it. We've been blessed. So go ahead, you can say your piece.
No, I agree with you. $90,000 is ridiculous for that.
Well, and they do that with everything in the military. You wouldn't believe, it's just bullshit. Yeah. And these poor guys got to pay everything for them. So they got to pay. They got to buy their own socks, for fuck's sake, for something. It's just like,
yeah, it's garbage.
Here's another one too, real quick. I want to play about him. All right, and then we'll go on. All right. This here. Oh, this isn't. If this is some type of alien craft or just something we completely out of this world, just explain that in my view. That's something that American people deserve to know. I really think they're going to get down to some nitty gritty stuff. I really do, about, the good and the bad. And because, they're all, they're he's pro military big time. Trump is. But I think there's a lot of things, like he said, in the background that needs to be exposed. He's going to expose a lot of things. Don't think it's just, this other shit. It's good. It's going to be a lot. I hope he does follow through on a lot of that. Who is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin? Tell me about him.
Let's see. Zeldin, law degree, joined the United States Army, ROTC. His roles included military intelligence officer, prosecutor, magistrate. I don't know a lot about him.
I've heard his name a few times. Yeah, I don't.
Conservative policy advocate, stands aligns with Trump's vision of deregulation and economic policies favor business. Energy dominance. Zeldin's expressed intention to restore U.S. energy dominance. Resonates with Trump's policies of promoting fossil fuel. Fracking, reducing. So we're going back the opposite direction. Here's one for me, since I'm a car guy. Auto industry. This may be where I've heard of him before. Zeldin's commitment to revitalizing the auto industry to bring back American jobs fits well with Trump's economic nationalism. His focus on bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. Guys, it's too late. It is 40 fucking years too late You're not going to bring manufacturing back to a country that doesn't make things. We buy things, we sell things, we destroy things, like discard things. So it's too late to bring back manufacturing to the United States of America. That ship has sailed.
You
Do
think
yourself
so
a favor.
completely?
100%. 100%. Now, cars and stuff are assembled here in the United States. For instance, one of the largest Toyota's plants in the world is in Alabama. It's in Alabama. That's where they put them together. But the parts are manufactured elsewhere because they can be done cheaper. And
that's what they're going to try to bring back.
I don't think they'll get it done.
Maybe not all at once, but it's going to take time, and it would be nice to make things here in the United States so we can bring our costs down a bit.
Well, say you're more optimistic than I am, and you don't bring your costs down when you increase your labor price. And that's what
I
happen.
understand that, but it's not going to happen in 60 days like you're going to deport fucking people either.
Hey, that's what he said. Don't look at me like that. That's what he said.
Don't make me reach through this.
I'm going to go put socks on next. Watch out.
Over your head. Okay,
yeah,
so much for Lee. Yeah, that'll be. Hold on, let me see something here.
Nah, but it's fine. He's obviously another disciple, and like I said,
boy, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Well, oh my God. Okay, let's talk about the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. What do you think about Elise Stefanik? There's one for you.
I think the United Nations should go bye-bye. I think it's a waste of time, effort, energy, and money on the part of the United States. I think that we have supported and upheld that organization for far too long. There are no teeth to it. What they say and go doesn't really matter. Be on the Security
You think it's like
Council,
those other organizations,
the World Health Organization?
Yeah,
fuck
WEF.
off. Yeah, the Kyoto Conference, fuck off. International Criminal Court, fuck off. So, like, this is an.
We need a T-shirt with the boxes. Check.
Check. Fuck off. Yeah. This is an autonomous nation, which is why Bill Clinton, of all people, did not sign the International Criminal Court. Because if he had signed to it, you could have leaders of this country being tried at The Hague for crimes committed against other people, other nations, whatever. Not going to happen. The same reason Donald Trump, regardless of innocence or guilt, will not spend one day in jail any more than when Nixon got pardoned as Watergate. He wasn't pardoned because he was innocent. He's pardoned because you're not going to have the sitting president of the United States go to federal prison.
Federal prison.
That's
absolutely.
how that. So everybody knew Nixon was guilty. Yeah, fuck off. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. But like all of these international organizations that we prop up and support, like the World Health Organization, like the International Criminal Court in some ways, like the United Nations, all of them can go away. All of them. Now, she's going to have to be an ambassador, and she's going to have to work with these nations and these people and stuff. But, I mean, domestic policy for George Bush, talk about a traditional conservative. I remember her. Representative. She was the House of Representatives in 2014. I remember this lady.
See, I didn't think she was so much of a Trump fan before, though.
She wasn't. But here's where the rubber.
That's where it got me when he picked her. It's almost like he keeps like you said, he's keeping his enemies close. I'm telling you.
Well, and this is where the rubber meets the road, and this is a very sensitive topic, everybody. So hold on. Has been a staunch supporter of Israel, particularly evident in her stance on the Gaza conflict and her critiques of the UN's handling of Israel-related issues. Her style of political engagement, especially her confrontational approach during House hearings, showcases a combative spirit that Trump might see as beneficial in the UN. So he put her there deliberately because she does not agree or believe in what is happening in Israel, and she'll stand up to it. Now,
you know who she reminds me of? Maybe the lady that's in charge of X. What's her name?
Of what?
The lady that is in charge of X, like on the other. Yes, what's her name?
I don't know.
Oh fuck. Anyway, that's who she reminds me of. I can't think. What's her name, Winnie? Okay, hold on. The facts. Linda Yaccarano.
No idea.
Okay, if that's her, then she is fucking. That lady's tough. over there. And so when I heard that, I'm like, she reminded me of her a lot. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're all friends with Elon or something. I don't know. But I didn't think she was too much of a fan of Trump's. So I
Right.
thought that was very interesting on that.
Well, one of the issues of, like say, Israel, the stance with the United Nations, and it's been
Yeah.
this way since after post-World War, the Security Council voted to create Israel 1948. That came from China, the United States, Russia.
Uh-huh.
Stalin wanted the Jews out of Russia, out of the Soviet Union. He did not want them in his territory. That's why he voted to create the state of Israel. So the creation of the state of Israel in the state of Palestine has been
Yes.
obviously a political hotbed for years.
Yes.
It was created, the issue was adjudicated at the United Nations.
Jeez.
They decided to have a two-state solution in 1948.
And that was
The day after the state of Israel, political state of Israel, not the people of Israel, God's chosen people if you read the Old Testament, but the political state of Israel as we know it in 2024. The day after it was created, every Muslim nation in the Middle East invaded Israel and were defeated. And they haven't lost a war since.
No. Israel's military is like, if not equal to ours, if not more badass. That's coming from a military husband.
Yeah.
Like, wonder where they got all that.
So the two-state solution, I don't believe Trump agrees with. He's never said it out loud, but
yeah, exactly. He hasn't.
The indicators are that he does not believe in a two-state solution.
So why would he even go with the United Nations? Why would he even?
What?
Why?
Well, the organization exists whether I want it to or not. So you're going to have to send somebody there to be an ambassador, and he wants somebody he believes can convey his message and be tough and strong, on a world stage.
And that she can be, because she's sassy. Like, what do you mean? Have you seen her?
Yes, I am very familiar with this woman.
Okay.
Yes. But she is also she is a much more of a classic Republican than Donald Trump is.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, Trump was a Democrat his whole life, basically. I mean,
the Clintons were at his wedding, regardless if people want to remember that or not.
Yeah. So CIA Director John Ratcliffe.
Yeah, former DNI. He's been with Trump before.
Trump's first administration. Yeah.
Yeah. And he declassified the information, and Hillary Clinton had approved campaign plan to stir up a scandal. So this guy is very interesting because he's threatening to open all of the Pandora's boxes.
And what are you against that?
No, I'm saying I'm okay with
because
him.
You know what? I think that's going to put a lot of Republicans, everybody to rest and just let them get the damn truth and let them make their own decisions. I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, he's talking about the Diddy files. He's talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He's talking about what's her face, the madam, who apparently is still alive, hasn't been killed yet. Epstein's Giselle or not?
Maxwell,
is it Giselle? Yeah, Maxwell. That's it. But yeah, he's talking about unclassifying or releasing all of that stuff, and I'm all for it. Let all of these sex traffickers and pedophiles and everybody that are power brokers in this country face the music the same as anybody else would.
Yeah, I don't know why they were so numb to that in this last administration. I don't
Now, as a CIA director, I don't know how much of that he can get away with because the CIA is not actually supposed to conduct operations domestically.
Right.
If they tell you they haven't, it's absolute bullshit.
It is
bullshit. They have. The CIA definitely has. But yeah, I think that you got a video.
Yeah, watch this. Yeah, I think this is going to help a lot. Oh God, is this on her? Okay, hold on. 1 second.
Issues that prevent us from concluding. The report on the bottom of page 2 of volume 2 reads as follows. The evidence we obtained about the president's actions and intent presents difficult issues that prevent us from conclusively determining that no criminal conduct occurred. Accordingly, While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Now, I read that correctly?
Yes.
All right. Now, your report, and today you said at all times the special counsel team operated under, was guided by, and followed Justice Department policies and principles. So which DOJ policy or principle sets forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined?
Can you repeat the last part of that question?
Yeah. Which DOJ policy or principle set forth a legal standard that an investigated person is not exonerated if their innocence from criminal conduct is not conclusively determined? Where does that language come from, Director? Where is the DOJ policy that says that? Can you, let me make it easier.
Go ahead.
Can you give me an example other than Donald Trump where the Justice Department determined that an investigated person was not exonerated because their innocence was not conclusively determined?
I cannot, but this is a unique
situation. Well, you can't, time is short. I've got 5 minutes. Let's just leave it at you can't find it, because I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence, or that the special counsel report should determine whether or not to exonerate him. It's not in any of the documents. It's not in your appointment order. It's not in the special counsel regulations. It's not in the OLC opinions. It's not in the Justice Manual, and it's not in the principles of federal prosecution. Nowhere do those words appear together, because respectfully, Director, it was not the special counsel's job to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or to exonerate him, because the bedrock principle of our justice system is a presumption of innocence. It exists for everyone. Everyone is entitled to it, including sitting presidents. And because there is a presumption of innocence, prosecutors never, ever need to conclusively determine it. Now, Director, the special counsel applied this inverted burden of proof that I can't find, and you said doesn't exist anywhere in the department policies. And you.
Wow. So what do you think? Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't let Mueller talk in that thing, but the whole Mueller investigation was a waste of time, money, effort, and energy.
It was. Wow. What a fucking why?
Your boy,
diverse.
Where your boy made his fucking bones, that idiot out of Ohio that you like so much.
Wait a minute, which one?
The loudmouth idiot out of Ohio. I told you I don't want as Speaker of the House. He's Jim Jordan. He's not getting it anyway.
I know. Damn it.
Damn
yeah,
shame.
I like Jim Jordan.
Yeah, but that's where the Mueller proceedings and the Hillary Rodham Clinton testimony, that's where he became famous, or people began to know him. Him along with what was the guy's name? He resigned or retired. Eric somebody?
Singer. No.
Stan. I forget. Spolstra.
Oh,
Eric, wasn't it Spolstra? Do I have that
know.
wrong? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The representative out of Utah. No, Chavis. Excuse me. Jason Chavis. Spolstra's a fucking basketball coach. Jason Chavis.
And Eric Singer is a Kiss singer.
They look the same. It's Jason Chavis out of Utah. Yeah, they all look the same. My bad. Everybody have a good laugh at that. Anyway, did a good job.
Oh my God! Someone said Homan has had some killer promos lately.
Yeah, I was reading that comment. I'd pair him with Heyman. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that'd be a great promo
That's
shot.
pretty
right
good,
there.
Hitman. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yes.
You want to wrap these up real quick, Deuce? I think we only have.
What do we got?
Oh yeah.
What do we got?
Let's talk about your. Well, let's
Treasury
talk about
Secretary. I don't know if we know yet. Department of Government is Vivek and Musk. That's interesting.
Oh my God, I love Ramaswamy. He is so
you do?
good. Oh yes, I wanted him before Trump. He's a
Are
younger.
you
Oh yeah,
serious?
younger is where the government needs to go.
Yes. Yeah. My husband
Younger
yes.
is where the
yeah.
government needs to go. So
We
Trump,
do.
by having J.D. Vance, putting Ramaswamy around him,
Yes.
even this guy that we just watched isn't a terribly old person.
No,
The
they're
D-
in their 30s and 40s. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, even if they're in their 50s, they're younger than what we've had. Today, John Thune became the Senate Majority Leader, Thune or Tune, however you say it, the
Thune, yep.
senator out of South Dakota. over the old Mitch McConnell, who looks like a walrus
Yes,
at this
thank
point.
God. Thank
But
goodbye. Fuck off, McConnell. Fuck off.
I would have rather had Tim Scott, but that's okay.
Me too. That's who I was.
Oh.
Yes, I wanted Tim Scott. I'm with you on that.
I
Oh, I
was
know
rooting-
why you wanted Tim Scott. I'm not even going to go there though.
I was rooting for Tim Scott because he is a well-spoken, intellectual black man, and
Yes,
Trump
he
is a
is.
racist. So loud and clear voice, Trump is a
Oh,
racist.
fuck.
So how do you fight racism? You create a coalition like he did of voters that are going to put him in office and that are going to support him.
Okay, so why do you think he's a racist?
That was tongue-in-cheek, Madusa.
Yeah. Okay. So what? So there's a little thing deep down inside you about him that you can't stand. I want to know what it is.
Oh, Trump?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Should we save it? Okay.
we could.
Okay, let's go into the next one. Okay, so White House counsel William McGinley. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's a
He played-
lawyer.
Yeah, the RNC outside counsel. He's going to
Yep.
need a lot of those.
Yep.
Defense Secretary, my man Pete Hegseth. I am so happy for this
I
guy.
don't watch Fox, so I'm not familiar with him other than I've seen
besides
him and I've
that,
heard him a little bit, you know?
He's
But I read
all
his
for
resume.
military.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
his resume.
Dude, he is like he graduated from 2 different college. What was it? Like you, I guess, almost has the same. But he is he's highly intelligent. He's a good family man. He has the military background. I think he's going to be very good at the. He's kind of staunch himself a little bit in how he wants to do things. A little aggressive on some, but
Ron Stars opposed to woke policies in the military. I can get behind that.
Yeah, you and a lot of other people too have said that we don't need any more woke policies. My husband is so livid. The woke policies is killing our military, and
Well,
it's
optically, optically,
he said
optically.
you cannot believe the people that do not enlist hardly. You know,
optically, you're director of Health and Human Services for the last 4 years, and I'll leave it right there.
where it
And
says
the rest of the world is supposed to take us seriously.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna play this for you, brother. All right, ready? Present, screen, boom, boom.
And not just vets, but so I spent the better part of a year and a half talking to vets, and not just vets, but connecting through a network of a lot of guys I know. I host my show on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in New York. So I've got Saturday afternoon wide open. And I spent for months my Saturdays just on the phone, off the record, anonymously with guys in service. So senior listed, junior officers, senior officers, all branches, MOSs, eras, but mostly guys in right now, generals, privates. And all the same themes came out. You know, standards are dropping. The woke stuff is everywhere. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I heard that all the time. Eggshells. I'm a commander. I walk on eggshells. I train commanders. They're walking on eggshells. They're afraid of one misstep on one identification or one gender thing or one racial thing or one trans thing. And the priorities are upside down on what the units are focusing on.
I agree with that.
And every single one of those distractions means we're less good at our job, which is supposed to be close with and destroy the enemy on behalf of our nation and bring our boys home. That's all I care about. That's what I want our military focused on. And so, yeah, I tell a few of my own stories in the book, but the book's not about me at all.
How do you think that this is happening?
Well, it's a long story. So I think it's because they're ideologues who want to bring a meritocracy to heel. That's where I think it starts. I think you have politicians who don't want to tolerate an institution. First, they want to use it to tinker. And then they also don't want to tolerate an institution that's antithetical to their social experiments. Because the military, you know, I mean, the book lays this out. Of course, like the integration of the military racially was a huge success. It was a huge success because Black men and Hispanic men and others can perform just as well as white guys in any capacity that they're given. So the reality of life reinforced that the bigotry we saw on the outside should not be tolerated inside the military. And the military did a great job doing that.
Yeah.
But now we're pushing boundaries and lots of different levels that are different than that, because men and women are different. Because being transgendered in the military causes complications and differences.
Women don't do
and
as
the
well
book
in
kind
combat
of
as
lays
men.
out the common arguments that those on the left or others make, which are baked in social justice. So it started, you saw it under Clinton with the tinkering of Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the reasons for those changes. And I talked to some of the people involved in when that was changed. But it really started to accelerate under Obama. And you saw the trans stuff come at the end of the Obama administration. You saw the women in combat come at the end of the Obama administration. It's because they looked around at the bureaucracies that they controlled in Washington, and the one that was that they didn't control. Obama spent a disproportionate amount of time focusing on the Pentagon. They were skeptical of leadership and eventually brought in political appointees and generals who would do their bidding the way they wanted, which, as you know, in a top-down organization, changes the ethos of the whole thing. So the book is meant to pull the whole curtain back, mostly from Obama forward, and explain how the Army that I enlisted in, or that I swore an oath in 2001 and was commissioned in 2003, looks a lot different than the Army of today, because we're focused on a lot of the wrong things.
Wow. What do you think?
The intention of the United States military is to protect and to kill and to destroy.
Yeah, that's exact. Yeah, absolutely.
Always
Yeah.
has been, always will be.
Well,
No, when you get down to it, that is what you have an army
Yes.
for. That is what you
Yes,
have a
sir.
Navy for. That's what you have Marines and the Air Force for.
Yes,
It is
sir.
to protect your nation, to protect your interests, to protect your people, and to protect your country, because a nation and a people are not, or a nation and a country are not the same thing. When you talk about the nation, you're talking about the actual people that we call Americans. The watering down of the military is sad because from the standpoint, it was a privilege and an honor for people to serve this country.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
don't have a draft in this country because we had so many people that were just willing to do it voluntarily and benefited from it in many ways, either learning a trade skill, getting some college education, learning, becoming a career person by joining the military.
A lot of
When
them
they
get into it for the wrong reasons. So
when they had
right now.
nothing else that they could have turned to at the time.
So what do you think about other countries saying that you have to at least, like Switzerland, I believe it is, or Sweden, everybody has to do 2 to 4 years of whatever.
Yeah,
in the
Israel,
military.
compulsory 2 years, and they don't care.
Yeah.
It's man and woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if we had started that way, it would have been there'd be much more appreciation for what we do.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
also think that he's correct in that, while it is vogue in society to have the transgender issue, I'm going to leave it there because I have very, very deep thoughts on that, despite my own personal beliefs and whatnot. I think that's a hard line. Don't mess with it. That's the
Wait, what do you mean?
don't I don't know that transgender people belong in the military.
Okay.
You're creating a environment which they will not thrive, they will fail. If you go to an old school military policy, which if your sole purpose is to be the most lethal killing force in the world that is only called upon when it's time, and you quit fighting wars of restraint as we've done for 70 years at this point. I don't get the politicalization of the military. I certainly don't. You don't need all of the social issues being combated inside the military when that is not what that entity is designated for.
Well, our military is supposed to be that lies upon a secrecy of not knowing what your opponent is doing, basically. And so with social media today and everything being open and honest, you have a lot of these people showing what they're doing on the backside. And I believe that it weakens it a lot because it shows what kind of people we have. I'm not just speaking of, transgender or whatnot. It's just, I think that having that, it's like playing chess. You don't want to see them. You don't want to show them your whole hand because they'll know what your next position is, basically. And I think that a lot of people think that transgenders are weak in some way. But I think that if you had a man change to a woman that was a very strong and prominent male, she's going to be a strong, independent woman with the biological everything that he had, and he could carry out his position. And in a military situation. However, but there's a lot that comes with that emotional change of what you were, who you are now, and the I guess they want to fight as equals once they're in there. I'm trying to remember a lot of women, friends and stuff that were in the military, and how they fought so hard for the rights to do the things, to go to combat, right? To be on the front line. Again, the statistics are showing that the women are not as strong as the men in combat. But so would that make a transgender still as strong? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to find that it's okay or bad or different, but I think there are ways to look at it of the seriousness of one. I think you could vet a person to find out why they want to go in the military. Is it just to have a sex change, or is it they there, like you said, to make a career out of it and be that strong
and
person?
they don't have to make a career out of it, but ultimately I think that we've lost sight of what the purpose of that entity is for.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
And there is, as we just saw, apparently $90,000 worth of hardware just sitting there, in a bag.
We got so much to cover here real quick, but then, okay, so I don't mean to skim through that, but we have Director of National Intelligence, which is Tulsi Gabbard. And Gabbard was elected to the Hawaii House of Representatives at the age of 21. She's a Democrat, youngest woman ever to be elected. Again, another Democrat in the Trump cabinet, and another military person. They butt heads there for a while, but they saw light together. She ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020. I thought she did well, but wasn't chosen. If the Democrats were smart, they would have had her instead of Harris. And it might have been different. And she left the Democratic Party, citing its shift towards what she described as an elitist cabal of the warmongers driven by woke ideology. And so
woke is our new word that we use to describe everything that we don't like if you're not a conservative in this country.
Okay. She became an independent then.
I think there needs to be some more specificity there. I like her.
Do you believe in 3-party system? Is that what
I believe in a 6-party system.
Ooh.
Pluralism is okay. You don't have to have a 2-party system by law. It's just by convention. So pluralism is okay.
So Tulsi was attacked, and I believe that her being in this position is going to be good because she's going to find out a lot of reasons why she's been on a list. Let me find if this is the one here. I don't know if this is.
Yeah, wasn't she a persona non grata or whatever? She was put on a watch list of some kind.
It's a sky. It's called where is it? Blue Sky. What the hell is it? Operation Quiet Skies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's interesting because a lot of us are probably on it. No, I don't know.
Good.
Meaning like she can't travel. Like, they'd pack her down 600 times through an airport just because she's on that. So now her being elected is going to be interesting because she can find out everything. Is it the last one or the bolded? Okay. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna do this one here real quick. There's 2 of them here. And then okay. Hopefully I got it.
secret domestic terror watch list. Most recently, I can point to my own experience of this, of how the Harris-Biden administration have added me to a secret domestic terror watch list the very day after Kamala Harris was endorsed by Joe Biden. And I was on TV and warning the American people about what I saw as the dangers of a Kamala Harris presidency, taking action that was clearly political retaliation. They've done this to a lot of different people, which points to how dangerous it is to have people in power so willing to abuse that power to go after political opponents.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the secret terror watch list. We're definitely going to follow up on that, but I do want to move on.
Okay. Okay, she wanted to move on from that because, oh God,
Dana
what the hell
Bash
just
she
happened?
is so bad. She is so bad. She can't help herself.
And then the face that she keeps, it's so. I don't know. Okay, let me see. Oh, this is Operation Blue Skies, whatever it is. Yeah, if you guys want to read more about it, it's all on Tulsi. It's on Tulsi Gabbard confirms Quiet Skies nightmare. So it is real. It's happening. It's called censorship. It's called this. It's called that. And it's funny how that happened as soon as Harris was elected. That's what I mean.
Ugh.
So shit happens all the time. It's ridiculous. And then real quick,
your man became didn't he become the attorney general?
I didn't say my man, Matt Gaetz.
I'm making fun of you because he's from Florida.
Okay.
They're going to have to replace another Floridian.
I'm Gates. Yeah, Gates, whatever. Gates.
Outspoken Trump man. And he really is one of the Trump guys, has been from the beginning.
He is like at the hip with Trump. So, I mean, it's sometimes, I don't know.
And that'll be his attorney general. It'll be interesting to see what he uses the federal government's prosecutory power for and what he doesn't. Speaking of which, the special prosecutor has said that he's going to resign before Trump becomes president.
Yes, the tall
Smith.
Tapper, whatever the hell his name
Smith.
is.
Yeah, he's going to be
Jack Smith.
Yeah, he's going to be leaving his post before Trump can fire him. That's what he said
damn
today.
well he's getting out of there. And didn't they drop a lot of his cases? Like, okay, we're out.
Well, the other thing is the judge has made concession as to how they're going to sentence Trump on these 34 felony charges. Because yes, a convicted felon is the president-elect of the United States of America.
Was he ever convicted?
Yes, convicted, not sentenced. 100%
Jack
convicted.
Smith is not a part of the film.
The convictions have not been vacated. They're still there, but he has not been sentenced either.
So the convictions are for New York. And say that again? That Jack Smith is doing. Yeah, go ahead. Classified documents.
Yeah. So,
boy, that's a lot of twists and turns, though. I mean, that'll be interesting. Just like everything else they do.
He's above the law, but by
weren't you just saying though? No president should be.
I said no president should be above the law, but Nixon got away with what we all know he did, and the Supreme Court has recently ruled concerning that the president should have some preferential treatment as it pertains to law. And now we're going to have vacated criminal charges on the current president-elect of the United States.
Do you think Biden's going to pardon? Who do you think Biden's going to pardon?
Probably Hunter.
Maybe that's what Trump and him spoke about today or whatever.
2 hours. Yeah, they were there 2 hours. I wonder if he said
hi. And Biden looked more happier than Trump.
I wonder if he said hi to Kamala. Speaking of Kamala.
Yes, let's go back there.
Why did she lose? Didn't you want to ask why she lost?
Hold on. I'm going to go right there. Melania, Kamala. Communism. Okay. Kamala, per White House official, her team blamed the loss on misogyny. Her team, per White House official Kamala and her team blamed the loss on misogyny.
Nancy Pelosi 4 days ago said if Biden had stepped out of the race sooner, Kamala could have won.
They pushed him out.
Nancy Pelosi is also who pushed him out of the race in
That was
July.
bullshit. She's fucking. She needs to get out.
She needs to go.
She's just done.
She's one of these people that
She's the
Tulsi's
one that
talking
helped
about.
them lose the damn
That's a
thing.
cabal. She's one of the power brokers in the cabal. The assumption that because you're a minority in this country, you're going to vote Democrat needs to go away. Needs to
All
go
of those
away.
old people. Yeah. Yes. When I say old, I'm not just talking about age. I'm talking about them sitting on the damn chair for so long. Their asses are chafed. Their faces are chafed. They need to move on. Their ass is their face. Basically.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But yeah, I don't.
So here it is. Kamala believed the bomb threats that happened at polling locations recently to be from Russia. And it was proven on election night that reporting was false. It was proven on election night, a day before the she threats came. So, I mean, they come up with so much crap. So there's a lot of pointing fingers, a lot of blame. Let me go to the abortion tab.
Do we have to?
No, it doesn't have to be long, but I think this is what they really, the agenda. I don't think people really understand. Here's number one. What I got from both policies is that they said that Trump is going to take away abortion rights. He didn't, nor is he. He's taking it out of federal, and it should be up to the states. If a state decision on when you should get an abortion and when you can't. If you want an abortion at 8 months, I think it's wrong. But if he also said if the mother's in danger, if there's something, whatever, yes, you can have an abortion up to a certain, it's up to the states. So I don't know what that big deal. I don't know why everyone's so up in arms about the abortion deal.
Because not every state has an abortion law.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Yeah. Not every state supports the right for a woman to choose to have an abortion. Here in North Carolina, our prospective governor, who is the lieutenant governor, just went off on the abortion thing, and it's all you heard here. They made it a one issue race here in North Carolina.
Really?
And he lost by 18 points to a Democrat more liberal than the former governor who sat there for 2 terms during COVID and kept this state shut down. And Trump won this state.
Holy crap.
But the governorship of North Carolina was lost by 18 points. The Republican lost by 18 points, and it was over the issue of abortion.
And that
it's all we've heard in this state. Mark Robinson. It was Mark Robinson lost to Josh Stein.
Oh.
It was a big race, and then it wasn't because Trump pulled all his funds and his support for Robinson. But,
if you're raped, I'm a woman, I can speak about this. If I'm raped, I should have the decision if I want an abortion. But I think making your decision within, 3 months, I think that's plenty of time to make a decision if you want to keep a child or not. But then maybe other people go through different emotions. I know I would be able to make a decision within 3 months. That's 12 weeks. It's already got
I'm going to address Hitman here. As a resident of North Carolina, this race was certainly about abortion, sir. Every radio ad, every video ad, everything that you heard about. I also understand what you're talking about. I think with the porn site or whatever it was. Got a little creative on social media. Yes, sir. But that wasn't the reason he lost by 18 points. Maybe the reason Trump pulled the money, but not the reason he lost the governorship. The reason he lost the governorship in the state of North Carolina. Oh, good. Hitman's from well, then we can have this discussion. The reason he lost the governorship is abortion. It was not because of the creative social media. Now, he may have lost Trump support because of the creative social media, but when you watching WRAL, if you get it there in Winston-Salem, all you were seeing was anti-abortion ads in this country or in this state.
Wow.
About how he was anti-abortion.
Huh. Well, again, I think that, here's my thing too. If you're,
and thank you for joining us.
Yeah. I think if it's a man and woman and you're having consent, sex and your love and first night and you're both okay and you take precaution and something happens. Here's my thing as a woman. A woman gets pregnant, but it takes 2 people, right? So why is it, even though it's our body and we decided to have consensual sex with somebody, Why is it all of a sudden just my right to say no when you've involved another person? Doesn't the man have the right to? Where is that? What about the man's fucking right? What if he wants that baby? You laid down next to this person. I'm talking about a situation where you both decide to have a good night, a good time. Maybe you were taking precautions and you knew about it, whatever, or you didn't, but you agreed knowing what could happen. This is just crazy, right? And I'm a woman speaking this, and this is just called responsibility, and just going out there and saying, well, it's my body, my choice. Your body, your choice, you're correct, because you chose to have someone else involved. I think that, and again, people come at me and say, well, what if the man don't want to do with you and you're pregnant and you need help and you want to keep it and he runs away and does whatever? And that's unfortunate. He's a piece of shit, And if you want to have a baby, which, and a lot of my girlfriends were single mothers and they found a way. They worked through it. They did their thing, which, the person's a piece of shit. But then if you decide to have an abortion, that's your choice. That is your choice. And if you don't, if you can't have it in that state, go to the next state. Or, if it's medical and you have to, then you're able to have one. Here's another thing, and I can speak very strongly about. I did IVF 3 times. We're talking almost $70,000. And Trump wants that to be a part of our medical, like that, our insurance to pay for that. Hello? I would have loved that. Or for free. I'm sorry. That would be free. However, your copay, whatever's going to happen in that, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of good decisions. And I think that's one good thing about, if you want to get pregnant and you need help as well, that's a great addition to it. And I think that if you are going to lay down with somebody, you're making the decision for 2 people. So that's my debate on that. I mean, I just don't understand the fucking thinking. I just don't. Fucking men are human beings too, God
Yes,
damn, I hate it.
I don't have an opinion that I'm willing to share on abortion.
Well, I've had to. I mean, I was pregnant with twins. I lost my twins at 6 months, guys. I had to have a D&C. Like, I can talk about all of this freely. Been there, done that, had to pay, but blah, 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 blah. So, and I was raped as a child. If you read my book, you'd know more about my history. And so you have to make a decision. So don't even come at me, because I got an answer for you for everything. And it's called making a decision, being responsible. And it would have been great to have my medical, my medical paid for the IVF, but that was then. Hopefully things will change. So there's that. What else? Why don't you? Okay, you feel like you can't speak about abortion because you're a man.
Not going to speak about it. No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's one of the only things you will ever find me decline to speak about.
Okay. And I respect that, because, some people feel they don't have the room to, or they may experience with their sisters or mothers, or, or maybe they can't. And I don't know, but some subjects are very, difficult. Yeah. Yep. It was one of her main talking points on her campaign was this. Was abortion. So
very, very much so, because we're trying to make,
he was trying. She was trying to make him a monster about it. He's not trying to take it away.
The big bad government. But the reality of the matter is, Roe v. Wade was overturned in his first presidential term.
Yes.
And Roe v. Wade was potentially activism by judges back in the 70s, potentially not. It depends on who you ask and what constitutional lawyer you believe in. But it was also litigated and adjudicated for 50 plus years. And they finally turned it back to the states, which is part of the Constitution of the United States of America, that the federal government does not have to determine every single law in this country.
I agree.
And has the option and ability to return said powers to the state. If it's not the 9th Amendment, it's the 10th, but I'm pretty sure it's the 9th Amendment of the Constitution.
No, you're right.
Um,
I agree with you on that. And I'm a woman and I can speak very hard on that. I just I cannot support women enough when it's a decision medically. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But waiting too long and not involving the other person if you can, or if he did or didn't want to, I mean, takes two. So there's that. And it's unfortunate this was, I feel, another part of their campaign on why I feel it was so, I looked at differently. People, not that they didn't want to hear it, they understood it. They get it the first time. They get it. There's a lot of responsible women and men out there. They don't need it bashed down their face like that.
Right.
And I think that's the way people were taking it, like, just okay. All right. We got you. Now, can you tell us another policy, Miss Kamala? I don't know. I don't know any more of her policies.
One of the things about the end of her campaign,
Mhm.
policy or no policy, she melted down the last 10 to 14 days prior to the election.
She melted down?
Yes, Kamala did. In public, on stage, being booed, being heckled.
Oh, that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, being embarrassed by people. Meanwhile, Trump is doing his thing, doing his little dance, telling everybody he's going to make America great again, having rallies in Madison Square Garden with 18,000 people and 250,000 people sitting outside just trying to get in.
Oh, in Madison Square Garden, yes.
Yeah, to MSG. Brings back the Hulk like we needed to see his dumb ass again. Go back to your beat shop, Terry. Nobody likes you.
Who did it better, though, Undertaker or Batista?
For what?
All the wrestlers were quiet for so long, and all of a sudden they started coming out of the closet.
I don't know. Batista came out pretty loud and proud. Undertaker, I thought, was like more measured about it, but Batista was very out there.
He was with his pearl necklaces and all.
Somebody on Twitter said, and I nearly peed myself, that Batista is currently transitioning, and I could.
What?
They're making fun of him.
Oh, okay.
But they're like, he's currently transitioning. But if you saw Dave Batista circa 2003, 2004, 2005, and you see Dave Batista now, there is a significant difference in the way the man looks. I'm not saying he's transitioning. I'm saying he said for more movie roles and stuff, he'd choose to get smaller, not be so bulky. It's better for his age and his muscles and his mobility and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there is a stark difference between what he looked like when he was the world champion and what he looks like now.
What the hell?
Pearl necklace aside. But I think Undertaker bringing Trump on and just making Trump and he did it with Logan Paul too. He humanized him.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan humanized him. And I'm not.
But that's the new media because our media is dead.
I'm not kissing these celebrities' asses, but they made Trump talk like a human being, not some guy standing in front of 20,000 people with a microphone yelling, "Let's make America great again." And Kamala
repeating himself 600 times.
Yeah. I mean, so that part was very successful.
It was. And I think while we're on the topic is I think that's what happened with the Harris campaign too, is that was Trump's strategy, is the new media push. And she would not. She sat in the basement like Biden did and didn't do much out there. It was only catering to celebrities, which people are just appalled with. They don't want to hear from them. Like they didn't want to hear from Trump or, Undertaker, or just like Beyonce or this or that, It's just like people want real people and just none of this fake woke shit, right?
And how much are you pandering or condescending to people by employing Cardi B, Beyonce, Oprah? I mean, you're playing to the lowest common denominator, and that's race. And that's gender, and you think that wins just because you share those identities. You don't win just because you share those identities. Eminem becomes a Democrat this election and gets paid $1.2 million.
1.8.
Was it 1 point? I thought it was 1.2. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. It was
got
one
paid.
something.
He got paid. He gets
As he
paid.
spoke, his hat was down here and he couldn't look at anybody. So
Yeah,
what does
he
that
gets
tell you?
paid. It doesn't change the fact I think he's probably the greatest MC ever. But
he wasn't bad. Yeah.
but
8 Mile was one of my favorites back in the day.
well, yeah, but I mean, I've listened to every bit of his discography. So, even from the
Ooh.
early days when he got second place in the rap battles. But the
He was good though. Yeah, very
the
pure.
bottom
pure.
line is, it doesn't change my perception of him as an artist. You kind of said that in your
Correct.
opening when we opened the show. It doesn't
Yep.
change my perception that I'm not going to listen to Eminem when he comes on at the gym anymore. On the other hand, I don't have to like his politics, and I don't have to like that he even got involved with this whole nonsense,
That's
any
the
more
thing
than
where I think a lot of the wrestlers that we found out is that, these are characters we've seen on TV, and then they come out and speak publicly, and people are like, "What?
And I
Wrestlers
really
speak?"
I still think The Rock did that. I think with his
Oh,
endorsement
that's why
of
it hurt
Biden
him.
and Harris first, when he did that, he kind of showed everybody, look, you can do this and you can survive it and blah blah blah.
He didn't survive because he didn't go on to the next election. Here's Kamala's. Okay, so she cut taxes for working people, lower food and grocery costs, lower healthcare costs, lower prescription drugs, lower energy costs. I mean, it was nothing like this is like 1980 shit. This is what really pissed people off. And it just went on and on. Oh, and here's another one that really pissed people off. Help Americans buy a home and afford rent.
$30,000. Yeah, where's that
Or
money
whatever
coming
it
from?
was.
Yeah,
I mean, that really had people's
taxes on future capital gains. What? You're going to tax me on something I can't take out for at 38 years old, another
Yes.
21 years. What? Yeah, her economic policies were a failure. But I told you last time we talked about this. I don't know how
Yep.
many audience members care to hear it from me, and it's okay because it won't take but a second. That's democratic socialism, and I'm not ever going to support it. So
Yeah. Wait, see what tab was it?
and taxing rich people or wealthy people. This is also from somebody who worked for a millionaire as one of his general sales managers. They employ a lot of people. Poor people do not employ people. Millionaires employ people. But thinking about raising taxes 40 and 50 and 60% and all that sort of stuff is absolutely insane because you think they should pay their fair share. Well, because they have more money than you, they need to pay more. I never believed in progressive tax policy, and I still don't. It's just my own opinion. But anyway.
But anyway, so okay, so really quick, I'm gonna do this here.
You say quick.
I know. Hold on.
We're at 2:12, ma'am. We're rolling.
Okay. Oh, you and I are like that. All right. So here's Trump's gimmicks, right? Announcement to send education back to the states. What do you feel about that? I think it's great.
I think the education system in this country sucks, and the education state to state sucks. Unfortunately, I have 6 nephews and nieces. I believe I got a far better high school education than any of the 6 of them can get 20 years later.
Trump announced that he can mandate insurance companies to pay for all costs associated with IVF. There's one. Trump's plan to revise Section 230 and pass Digital Bill of Rights, protecting free speech, identifying, firing, and aggressively prosecuting all criminals involved in censorship, enact new laws for bureaucrats. Wow, working for private entities, and mandate a 7-year cool-off period for government employees to work at any company that possesses user data. What do you think? I think it's all good stuff.
Yeah, so freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence from it. But
well,
but
we lived it for a couple of years. I mean,
censorship is absolutely ridiculous. There's
look
a
at
website.
Facebook. Look what happened to Facebook and all of that shit.
There was a website for the longest time, GodHatesFags.com. It was the Westboro Baptist Church led by Fred Phelps out of Kansas. It was his website, GodHatesFags.com. This is the early 2000s. These people would protest military veterans' funerals because they believed that the war in Iraq was God's punishment for allowing homosexuality in the United States.
Right.
Obviously, I don't agree with that man's stance. It does not mean that I don't agree with his right to say it. He can say whatever the hell he wants. He's not breaking the law. Now, when you start prosecuting or persecuting free speech, you have fundamentally undercut what this country stands for.
So I wish he'd be more specific in exactly what he plans and how and what they decide what is, because
The other thing is anytime that's what I was going to say. Anytime a government starts talking like that, you have to worry about censorship on the other side, meaning that they're going to target political opponents that they don't want to criticize them. We see
and
that
again,
a lot.
that's what happened from the left to the right. And I mean, God dang, like you said, can they just fucking quit?
Yeah, and it's authoritarians that you see this from. The Soviet Union was good for this. Nazis were good for this. So that's why it's so vogue to call someone a fascist or a Nazi or a commie or whatever, which you don't, a lot of times people, it's a low level insult. They don't even understand what that word means other than we're not supposed to be what that is.
So, okay.
Ideologically, people don't understand neo-fascism. They don't understand that Nazi stands for National Socialists. Strong nationalism, everything owned by the government. Does that sound like a utopia you want to live in? No fucking thank you.
No. What do you think fucking Berlin was like, Yeah. Or Jesus Christ. I was over there, right there when the wall fell. Dude.
We just passed the anniversary, November the 9th of 1989. The wall fell. A wall guarded by Czechoslovakians, built by Americans, intended to separate Russians, West Germans, and East Germans, torn brick by brick by the people, not the Czechoslovakians, the Russians, or the Americans.
It was sick, dude. Looking at those buildings, they were all one color, all the bullet holes in it. I mean, oh my God.
Yep.
Incredible.
It was crazy, but it was Czechoslovakians that guarded that son of a bitch for 40 years or
You're shitting me.
No, 1961, I guess it would be to 1989. So
God dang it. Okay, real quick, I want to talk about the taxes and tariffs and where people, taxes versus tariffs and stuff like that. And that's what her campaign wrote on in his campaign, and how they, why does Trump blah, blah, blah. Well, she wanted to tax the corporate. Well, somehow we're all going to pay for it somehow, some way. If you do the tariffs this way, or if you tax the corporations or going to manufacturing, then money's going to go back to the people and they purchase, whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So during Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, Trump repeatedly emphasized that his desire to make the tax cuts on jobs of 2017 tax cuts permanent. So in his speeches and policies and discussions, he highlighted that the success of these tax reforms during his first term, and promised to extend them to prevent tax increases that would occur when provisions expire at the end of 2025. A corporate tax rate reduction. He has proposed lowering the corporate tax rate from 21 to 15. He also made several statements regarding tax policy for his upcoming term, particularly focused on exceptions or exemptions from the income tax. Wouldn't that be nice? That might be difficult. Also, God, where's that one? No tax on tips. That's going to be interesting. So everybody, when you, I just, when you pay me, just pay me as a tip. I don't want hourly wage. I don't want nothing. Just pay me.
No W-2s, no 1099s.
Yeah.
Just give me a tip, cash.
Yeah.
Small denominations, untraceable preferred.
Donations. Yeah. No tax on overtime.
Interesting concept, because there's a lot of people in this part of the state. I live in Eastern North Carolina, as you know. Some factories, some manufacturing here, they make a lot of money on overtime. Well, they make a bulk of their money on overtime, unfortunately.
Can you imagine not having tax on not overtime? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are some good things there too that really got a lot of people's attention. And then what I want to bring up is then all of a sudden Why did Harris start looking like a Trump campaign? She said the same thing. There's no be no tax on tips. Where did that come from? That made her look stupid.
Yeah, it's unoriginal. It's stealing. It's I mean, I don't know. I don't really like much of anything that she said.
Really? Well, okay. So here,
They also,
need
you know, we're
55's
also
got a good one here. It says she lost the Muslim vote when she aligned herself with Liz Cheney. That's
yeah.
interesting.
So Liz Cheney has lost so much political capital, being the
Oh, so
daughter
much respect.
of Richard Cheney, my man Dick, as we talked about. You know,
Dickie for the Dickie. Dickie
I
for the Dickie.
love Dick Cheney. What a
Oh
what a
my
character!
fucking,
It's
what's
like
wrong with you?
Nixon. You know, I love Nixon too. Mostly because they're criminals, and they got away with it.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
look,
funny they were with Trump all this whole time and all of a sudden turned. That's interesting. That whole
yeah, and that came out big.
During the campaign.
No one clipped that. Please, did you? We don't care.
Did you please?
Yeah, I don't care.
No one clipped that.
Yeah, no one clipped that. Dick Cheney and Richard Nixon are two of my favorite presidential people of all time. We're
gonna put that on repeat. Could you put that in that new video that I don't have yet, and just put that out? Yep, these are my favorite. They're my favorite. They're just like that, and you can put that in the video somewhere.
But Liz Cheney, unfortunately, you know, carried a lot of weight inside the Republican Party, not the Trump Party, and now I think she's lost both. I think she's lost her standing in both.
Yeah, and so they're going to continue the support for CTC, so family tax credits, stuff like that. I really want to know deep into the tariff thing, if you can explain it. So Trump has proposed imposing tariffs as high as 10 to 20% on all imports, even with higher rates up to 60 on goods from China. The idea is to use these tariffs as a revenue source for the government. The revenue could theoretically be used to offset tax cuts or fund other government initiatives, reducing the deficit or allowing or more spending without raising domestic taxes directly. So this is where I got a bit of a problem. Somehow, some way, we're going to end up paying for it. You know?
Yeah. Tariffs are a bad idea in a free market economy. If you've ever
you're going to have some people argue with you there. Some people think they are.
If you've ever read Wealth of Nations, a true capitalist economy depended upon supply and demand, and somewhere, you know, that the invisible hand, as Adam Smith wrote back in 1776, tariffs were not part of the deal. I absolutely do oppose tariffs, 100%. Because you're going to add that cost onto the consumer. You know, I authorize $1,000 shop bill on a pre-owned vehicle at work. The price of the car may be $15,000. Once I spend that grand on it, guess what? It's not $15,000 anymore. It's going to be $16,000. You're going to continue to raise the price of goods in this country. Now, I get it. Negotiating tool. It's a bully move. It's all this stuff. The problem is we are so reliant and dependent upon China for everything that we do in this country.
I know, and I want that to quit. I'm sick of seeing every my coffee cup made from China. I hate it.
But you can't impose a 60% tariff if the bulk of your goods are coming from that nation.
But we have companies that make all of that shit here in the United States, because why is it? Okay, cheaper labor, but shit, you got cheaper labor, you've got to pack all the stuff, you got to make it, you got to ship it. I mean, it's almost 50-50, but just buy it here.
But we don't even have the infrastructure to make the things that everybody wants us to make anymore. And we're
starting to. There's starting to be more and more.
They've gone away.
This isn't
the 70s or 80s any longer.
I buy all of my cotton sheets and all my cotton wear through USA made companies. Our American flags made here in USA. I have found a lot of different things, different products here made in the USA. I try not to buy overseas as much as possible. Now, some of it is, like you said, it's impossible. You've got to. My phone is made it. I mean, come on.
What is your cost differential? Do you know?
Okay, so I know this sounds crazy, but so I like cotton and linen because your body just that's another whole subject. It's kind of like eating real food without pesticides is like covering your body without polyester and all the spandex, and it causes so much problems with your body. So I try to do cotton as much as possible, especially when I sleep. So I have 100% like, linen, organic cotton sheets and bedding and blah, blah, blah. So I found this company. They're out of Alabama. What the hell? Land and Cotton, or I'll get the name, Land and Cotton. And from their sheets to their blankets, quilts, pillows, whatever. I mean, all here. And I paid on a King 100% organic blanket. It was $288.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How long is How long has the blanket lasted?
I just got it. So
okay.
I've been changing. I mean, you try to get rid of everything and bring it in. It's expensive. It's like cleaning out your cupboards of all your polluted food. Like, oh God, we didn't even talk about Kennedy in his position. I think that is one of the
Kennedy in his position right here.
What the fuck up? Maha, you bitch. Okay. So make America healthy again. So right away, now that we're on the subject, who has Lunchables? What company is that? Is it
Oscar
Heinz?
Mayer? Is it Oscar Mayer?
I don't know, but that company is pulling all of their Lunchables off the shelf. You know why? It's got to be one of the most poisonous things that you can eat are those Lunchables.
The
and
little
what they
snacks
do,
with the cheese and the meat and crackers?
You wouldn't believe the shit in them. So they have caused so many problems in people, from neurological to everything else, cancer, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Those fucking Lunchables got some bad shit. So what? Kraft Heinz owns them?
Yeah, I thought it was Oscar Mayer, but doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it is Kraft Heinz. Yeah. And oh my God, that is just the start. So you're going to start seeing companies and things happening when you have, a leader that people think is strong or that's going to cause commotion. And especially with Kennedy involved in his background and everything they tried to do to shut him down years and years and years, from, the vaccine problems to the food. This is going to be great. And it is going to change. There's a really great app out there, everybody. I've been using this for years. And if you want to know what's in your food, you're going to absolutely crap yourself. It's called Yuka, Yuka. Download it. And it doesn't do vitamins right now, but it does all your shampoos, your soaps. It does all your food. You scan the barcode and it comes up everything that's in it, and it'll tell you if it's good, bad, poor, extremely dangerous, and it'll give you the reasons why, if it's really super dangerous, and then it'll give you the ingredients in the dangerous section. Now you really have to be kind of open-minded, because sometimes it'll tell you it's really super bad because it has mega carbohydrates, right? And so you've got to kind of even that out where that's at. So blah 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 blah. But mainly Yuka, Yuka. I believe it's a family from, I want to say Germany or something like that, or Netherlands, that was making this. I don't know if. Anyway, they were making this for years, and they finally got it approved. And oh my God, this app is amazing. So whenever I'm shopping, I'm always using that app. And toothpaste, oh man, let me tell you. Another thing, I'm so glad Kennedy is in charge of all this, because I really want shit to change, because whenever I go to Canada, their Heinz ketchup is nothing like ours. Ours is nothing but pollution, and they have like 4 ingredients. Why? It is disgusting. We are killing America in so many ways, and it's been a plan. I don't know. We're just a bunch of fucking lab rats.
She about said it out loud. You about
What?
said the quiet part out loud, that it was a plan. So
it is. It's a plan. It's a plan. We're a bunch of lab rats.
Yeah, Kraft Heinz owns
Lunchables.
Thank you all. Seriously. Yeah. So
the yellow dye. No shit, man. It's nasty.
I eat fairly healthy.
No.
But I haven't had
you
a prime.
work out?
Yeah, I haven't had a prime this week. poor Logan Paul, he's not going to know what to do without my support of his company. But, you know, somebody guilts me every time I bring one on her show about a Prime hydration drink.
Oh, you know what? I got something for you. Yeah, fuck that Prime shit. That thing causes brain cancer. I don't know. I'm just saying that shit's no good for you.
Don't talk about your boy like that.
Look at that. I love that boy though. So here's taxing corporations and the tariffs. And this is a good read right here in all of this. You guys.
Yeah, the Mod Squad did an awesome job putting together.
Oh my God. Talk about
the not opposition research, as I like to refer to it.
So
I'm
impact on consumers. While corporate taxes can affect businesses' decisions, including prices, strategies, investment, employment, and direct impact on consumers isn't as immediate as tariffs. Yep. Companies might choose to absorb the tax, pass it on to consumers, raising prices, reduce wages, or cut down on their expenditures. The magnitude of the price increase for consumers due to corporate taxes depends on the market conditions, competition, and the elasticity of the demand of the products and service offered in the corporation. So this is all interesting, and this is a really good read, guys. I love that. I mean, it's just so
yeah. I mean, you got to look after yourself because no one else is
you
going
do,
to.
and you got to, people chose that. I mean, here's the thing. Trump was not shy about what he said he was going to do, and he kept to it. That's the thing, and people knew.
The best part about Trump talking about food is it's a man who likes to eat Big Macs and eats them with a fork and has 2 Diet Cokes or whatever at lunch. And
wait a minute, he probably orders McDonald's and goes up to the Trump Tower on his golden throne and eats his shit on a golden toilet.
You know he does. Believe it. I got to have my sesame seed, my bun, my burger.
Wow, you did that pretty good. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so another thing too, what do you think about Russia putting all the nude photos and videos and whatever of Melania up on
I thought we were going to talk about Russian Kim Jong-un or whatever his name is now. The crazy ass guy. The inbred guy.
Jim Hung what?
Yeah, something. Yeah. No, the North Korean dictator who has joined forces with Russia. Apparently, the war in Ukraine is over because the money is going to stop. Yeah, the money is going to stop.
Soon as they know Trump's involved, what happens?
Well, internationally, the markets went ballistic.
Highest ever, right?
The Dow Jones highest ever, which means people were holding their money before to speculate with it because they much rather know what was going to happen. It's not necessarily a pat on Trump's back, but now that they know what direction the company's going, it's going. As for the Melania, you were the one who told me these about Melania, all her nude photos.
Yeah, but it was from her modeling days and stuff. But so fucking, what's his name? Got a hold of them all, and he put it on his main broadcast across.
Yeah, they view nudity over in Europe much differently than we do here, even though some of our TV's gotten a little more risque. But
yeah, it's like we get scared and shy, and we dot out everything here. Oh, let me tell you, in Japan in 1988. I'd be seeing Japanese people go at it right on TV. All that I'm like, oh my God. But it's like nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's a cultural difference. Yeah, it's an interesting decision for him to call and congratulate Trump and then put the nude photos up on his.
Do you think that was a, fuck you move?
I think it's a pretty much I can do what I want thing.
And Trump, you ain't got the power that you think you do type of thing?
Well, I mean, Vladimir Putin, for all he is and he isn't, has had the law successfully changed 2, if not 3 times so that he could be the president up until like 2012. And then he was the prime minister. And now he's the president again. And I don't think that he's out of office right now until 32 or 36. Like legally, he can be the president that long now because he's had the law changed a couple times.
Sounds like some administration, what they were trying to do. I get it.
Yeah.
But they just hired puppeteers, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's it. But, so Russia automatically with Trump's election in the world, somebody turn the temperature down.
Yeah.
The war in the Ukraine will stop because the money will quit coming in. They'll have to come to some ceasefire. There's been enough of this nonsense, whatever's
You
going
think the
on
whole
over there.
Israeli and all that is going to quit?
I think that they will listen to the United States with Donald Trump as the president. I
Mhm.
don't think they would have entertained a word the Kamala Harris administration had to tell them.
Oh.
May not change the outcome.
No.
Israel's ultimate goal is a one-state solution, which means people will die and be displaced and moved out of their country. Their country being their perspective.
Mhm.
Because a one-state solution is the only answer for the hardliners and conservatives in the state of Israel. Until the Star of David safely flies over the Middle East, they're always going to be on alert. Iran probably is going to temper any sort of response it was going to have to Israel, now knowing that Trump, whose grandchildren and son-in-law are Jewish, are not going to, and I believe the son-in-law is a resident of Israel, or somehow he's affiliated, Kushner. They are
Kushner
not,
is, yes.
yeah, they're not going to continue that pursuit, because we are the country, the nation that took out the head of their secret police.
It's interesting how, though,
Like a
that
dog. Shot him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how the media swung all of that and how it was so focused. I mean, what it did to people, and just the hatred, and how they were trying to swing Trump and him, and then it looks like a playbook that Kamala was in bed basically with Putin, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that
what I was trying to say is that they're from media and how they spin things, and then them spinning saying, well, sounds like Kamala's, working with Putin, and then it was Trump working with Putin, and it's like you can't believe anything. So I want to jump back into the viewership with the liberal left-leaning podcasters are losing. Like they are. I think a lot of this, what has happened is, I'm trying to jump back a little bit, is the podcasters and the viewership on stuff like this, people are tuning into, because like you said, kind of like with the Undertaker, it was very real, and he was very approachable. And I think people can really see our personalities better like this than what the hard media projects, and just constant the same language, and it's almost like MK Ultra. They're trying to put you in a trance and change your way of thinking, and then play. Okay.
Do you want to talk about The View? They were very upset about the Trump win.
Oh, that too. Hold on, I'm going to play something for you. Watch this.
Okay.
Was the courage to call out their fellow Democrats.
To bring the corporate Democrats to heel the way that Donald Trump has been able to make the establishment Republicans essentially kneel, right? Like, and I mean, just think about that. Donald Trump's willingness to essentially bully members of his own party has entirely changed that party, right? To the era of Trump. And we don't have anyone who has that same fighting spirit on the Democratic side. I think that Bernie could do that.
Is there a single person that is a Democrat in elected office at the national level who has the courage to call out their fellow Democrats?
To bring the corporate
There you go. Kind of like what you said earlier.
Well, Mike Johnson will be the Speaker of the House again, because he went to stepping and fetching after a 90-minute delay when he and Trump had a conversation, and Trump cleared all the roadblocks in the Republican caucus. You know what that tells me, Madusa? Trump has an agenda, and he's not going to tolerate political infighting getting in the way of it happening.
Okay. Are you good with Mike Johnson?
I'm better with him than Jim Johnson or Jordan
Jordan.
rather. You know, I don't like him. I don't like him. Don't like him. He's from Ohio. He probably
I
in
knew
Ohio.
you would. You know what? He said yes on everything that the Democrats wanted.
Yeah, he's probably an Ohio State fan, which is why I really dislike him.
God. No, he's probably a Vikings fan because we're always losing with him.
No, you won in Jacksonville.
By the hair of our ass.
Yeah.
Another fucking nail biter. Don't even get me started.
Jacksonville. Yeah, the party. But so no, Johnson, of course, looks like he'll be the presumptive Speaker of the House. A Jim Jones would make things interesting. You're right. Don't drink his Kool-Aid. So no, I mean it is what it is. Scalise, Steve Scalise,
the one that got shot.
The one that got shot, he's still the majority whip, and then the other guy, the third man, he won too. They were unopposed though. Johnson was the only one at risk, but Trump cleared the roadblocks. They ironed all the crap out.
Yeah, is that what just telling him what he wants to hear? I mean, he went through that shit in the last cabinet.
Well, this came from Reuters, so not the mainstream.
Reuters,
not the mainstream American news. That the
Rotor
mainstream
Rooter
European
without a
Rotor
condom
Reuters.
or fucking salami.
Correct. So
Without a Haktua.
Yeah, Haktua. Spit on that thing. But yeah.
God,
we're off the rails.
With your feet.
Yeah, with your feet, no socks. Trim your nails at least. Be polite. And there are people watching this that have no idea what the fuck
just happened. What are those guys drinking? Water.
Decaf coffee, believe it or not.
We are high on life all the time. You have two ADHED, LML, PQR motherfuckers here.
Correct. We've got more letters in our alphabet than LGBTQIA. So anyway.
I got one for you. Let's do this. I got one real quick. We're gonna wrap it up here. Sort of. Here. Okay, so here, let's do this. You ready for this? Let's have some fun with this. Okay. Notable talent and their support along with any and all public backlash. There are so many posts. It's more direct to give one over. Okay, so conservative, Undertaker, Kane, and Hogan, right? You've got that little interview there. Disco Inferno. This endorsement came as no surprise to anyone. Same for Cornette. It was a few small comments, but otherwise no real engagement one way or another. He's sort of known for this. Logan Paul Tyrus, no surprise, right? And Tatanka, he was very open a little bit about it.
Terrible worker.
Who?
Tyrus is a terrible representative of the NWA.
He's not with the NWA.
Well, he was. He's terrible worker. And Disco Inferno, shut up. Go smoke pot with Conan. It'll be fine.
Wow. Why are you fucking hating on Disco Inferno?
He's a douchebag.
Do you think Vince Russo endorsed Trump?
I mean, he's a New Yorker.
Yeah, but that don't mean anything.
No, just two out of
New
three.
York almost, yeah.
Two out of three are liberal.
Oh, here's some good ones.
I honestly don't. Oh yeah, there's Batista. Yeah.
Here's Batista. While it's no surprise that Dave had this opinion and support, what is interesting is how the Undertaker and Kane had a sort of a weak feud over media. Yeah, I mean they didn't go on there and just chastise people like Mick did. Mick was just Mick
was in his feelings. Yeah, he was in his feelings.
He was. He
left Twitter, I think.
Again?
Was it during the 2016 or the 2020 election?
He took a hiatus.
He left. He was like, fuck this, I'm out. Doesn't change the fact that I think he's a great professional wrestler.
Remember,
Crazy
guys, it shouldn't change how we feel about these people and their, their characters and stuff. But again, it does with people. It's
Ventura, big shocker that he endorsed
Kamala.
Yeah, and Kevin Nash, Jim Cornette, nobody's surprised there. Kevin Nash did a whole podcast, I think, on post election like we're doing.
Oh, he did? Oh.
I haven't listened to it. I saw it in the suggestions. Gonna have to play that thing on 2 times speed. If those of you who've listened to Kevin Nash talk all know what that means.
I don't know either, unless how much wine he was drinking. I don't know.
Maria Kanellis. Oh, that's an interesting name. Okay.
So, supporting neither candidate, Maria attempted to speak reason and encourage discussion.
Yeah.
There's small few responses, but warranted. Okay. Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So that brings us back full circle to the wrestlers. But like you said, Madusa, when
Yeah.
nobody would ever talk about this stuff,
No.
earlier in careers and in life and all that. And now everybody's got a platform and a podcast and a whatever, social media, a Twitter, an X, a Instagram, a Facebook, or whatever. I don't shy away from it, as you know. And
No, I love our openness. I do. And I think, yeah, I mean, we really don't get attacked either. And I love
No, I mean, there's
love
some
that.
people. I've gotten attacked more for my stance on Bret Hart than I have on politics. So there goes with the wrestling.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis left X today. Well, don't let it hit you in the ass.
Michael Myers chasing her?
Michael Myers was back again with his grandchild. And
Was he?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh my God! Quick
Around
before
Pembroke,
he before he tears a quad.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Important feedback. What do we got? We got Bernie talking
View?
about the Dems left their voter base.
Can we talk about The View? How about we talk about MSNBC and Joe Scarborough? Is it Scarborough?
Scarborough, yeah.
And Mika Brzezinski, excuse me, Zbigniew's daughter, talking about what sexists the Latino and black men who voted for Donald Trump are, because they chose to vote for Trump instead of Kamala Harris. That was on Morning Joe. And I love the look on Mika Brzezinski's face the whole time.
Oh, we don't have that clip, but yeah.
Nah, she had the RBF on, and it was fantastic. It rivaled mine, which I am a level 5
I
bitch.
think The View had the highest rating. Yeah,
Because
everybody.
all of us wanted to see them melt down. That's
all
why.
they wanted. Yeah, I think The View had the highest rating for the next day. They're probably like, "Oh, look, we're popular again," just for one day because they wanted to see your meltdown. That's all that was. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, the View made me laugh because Whoopi.
Yeah.
Anything happened yesterday? She was so mad. I mean, it's just so mad. Yeah. Yeah, she was so mad. Whoopi Goldberg was mad. The Hispanic host on Joy Behar. I can't stand that woman. She was on there, just yum 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 yum.
Yum 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 yum.
Here's the other thing, and our chat can weigh in on this as we close this down. What is everyone's fucking obsession with posting an angry TikTok video or Instagram reel or Facebook video and screaming and hollering in your car because Donald Trump just became president of the United States?
That's where we're just.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't. The people melting down talking about they're canceling Thanksgiving and Christmas is canceled because
they're shaving their head. They're not having sex with men, and they're like everyone's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is it's really not that serious. I understand he's the president of the United States. 50% of the country doesn't like him, but there are so many other power structures in this country that the congressional race and winning the Senate was probably more important than who the president of the United States was.
Did you see what the mods wrote about us?
Yeah, I saw Digi. He's over there. I see him. I see you.
Yeah. Okay. So much for that.
Yeah, I see you. You're seen. You're heard. Back to your kitty table.
Back to your fucking cat box.
But the reaction videos though.
Yes.
Like
do we have a compilation of them? Our reactions?
Probably not.
Wait, no, they're pretty good. Hold on. Let me see.
This is where, to me, we as a nation have really just lost it. And
Oh, here it is. Here she is. Ernest Post put a thing. Here it is. Okay to have moments of happiness in public without being broadly scolded. And I believe that sustaining this kind of humanity will be important.
Well, I believe you're an idiot,
Wow.
AOC. She's horrible. I mean,
Oh
I
my
don't.
God. Is she pregnant, do you think? Have you seen her
God, I don't
lately?
know. Who would want to touch her? God
Well,
almighty.
she's part of the thing now. She don't have to worry about it. She can
Yeah.
shave her head and not have sex.
Well, the thing is people vote her in mass, and then you saw the way she dealt with Homan earlier, and not
Oh,
being
yeah.
able to
Oh,
understand
Jesus.
basic law, and she is a lawmaker. I don't get it.
How do they get these positions by doing that?
No. Well, she got voted in one of the most liberal districts in the country.
She's probably friends with
Apparently
Kamala.
didn't check the resume. Because idiot would be on it. And she makes people my age look bad because that woman is my age. And
Is she really?
yes, she's younger than I am. That's unacceptable. That she makes
Wow.
people
And you're
my age.
smart. You should have that.
It makes us look dumb, and I
Another
don't like
issue
it.
that influence of voters. Here's another issue that it surprisingly influenced voters more this election was foreign policy. The issue of the U.S. and international conflicts and the conflicting ideas that support of allies and the international democratic order versus isolation perspective. That's interesting.
I appreciate the info hit, man, but she didn't lose enough in the district because she's still in Congress. That's the
Yeah,
only
how'd
bad thing
that
there, my man.
happen? Oh, she's in New York, right?
Yeah, she's a New Yorker. That's why.
Yeah, she ain't gonna move to South Dakota or anything.
Oh God, she grew up where I grew up. They would never have even put her on the ticket. They never would have put her on the ticket, and it isn't because she's a woman or Hispanic, because there's plenty of them out in
Wow.
Western Nebraska. It's because she's an idiot.
Wow. Let me see. Oh no, this is the same one. I was trying to find.
My favorite compilation was Trump dancing to YMCA. That was the best one on Instagram. I think I sent it to you, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I sent it to everybody else but you.
Oh, I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
And
There's
I'm not even a
video.
Trump person, but it was hilarious that they dubbed all his little dancing to YMCA, you know.
Oh God. So there was where did I hear it? There was a guy somewhere and he had just a hat, MAGA, MAGA, and they wouldn't let him wear it to vote. It didn't have Trump's name on it. It didn't have anything, right? But they still told him to do whatever. So I guess he went inside and he started dancing like Donald Trump.
Doing the dance?
Yeah, or the dance or whatever. And oh my God. I mean, to me, that's just stirring up shit. But you know.
I mean, and look, you just described the Trump presidency, what we're going to see in 4 years, just stirring up shit. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, God. And we didn't have any control of our last either. There's no law and order in the last 4 years. Give me a break. No one knew who the fuck was who. Hey, we had a guy that allegedly beat Trump, but when you look at all the votes, he's the only president through how many fucking decades that won by 20,000 and now all of a sudden they're missing or 200,000 or 2 million or whatever it was.
20 million votes are missing or 15 million votes are missing.
How does that happen all the way from Barack to
I'll just simply say it does not happen. Barack Obama, the fact that people want you to believe that Joe Biden got more votes than Barack Obama in 2008 is 100% ludicrous. The fact that they want you to believe that he got more votes than Hillary Rodham Clinton in 2016, because that's why it was so shocking when she lost, because he won every single swing state the whole night. And if she had won one
at 1 a.m.
Yeah, if she had won one, and then she had to give the speech, Donald Trump is gonna be president of the United States. I'll never forget it.
No, she didn't. She didn't even she did not until late. Remember, she waited.
Yeah, she waited. Yeah. But anyway, Biden didn't get more votes than he didn't get more votes than either of them. And if that makes me an election denier, so be it. I don't give a shit.
No, it's the truth. I mean, if you look at all the statistics that came out, which was perfect from before Obama and all the way down up until this election, he's the only one that has the most votes out of any of them.
It's insanity.
Like, okay.
And that's why you could never convince me to believe on it. believe it.
Right.
But
okay, so how do you want to wrap this up? I think it was interesting. Here's my finish on this, and this is what I think that they're missing the boat. Next election, if they really want to get smart, because people are really not going to tune into major media, there's going to be even more great podcasts and more television shows on network, right? I mean, on internet. I feel this would be great. And then they can give the money that they make and give back to the people, is they need to put the shit on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? All the way to the, and then they can make it kind of like they can make highlights, they can make, the fight, the arguments, the debates, and they can turn it more into, I mean, God, some of these podcasts and shit, you save all these podcasts for the debate. I mean, talk about money, but only if they put the money to good use, and you take that money and use it back to whoever the president-elect is. They have to use that money for something. You know what I mean? That's kind of like hey, if they can start betting on NFL right now, and NFL is the most crooked thing. It's crazy. Now that you can bet on NFL, you see a lot of weird plays. Give me a break. I mean,
yep. So to wrap up my thoughts, here they are. Number one, Wednesday of last week, the world continued to turn.
Yeah. Okay. Yes,
Donald Trump, president-elect.
Okay.
The world didn't end. Everybody's okay. Take a breath. Go to the gym. Go eat you a cheat meal. Do whatever it is you have to do to get over that fact. He's the president-elect of the United States. And
I'd rather have a Burger King over McDonald's, but okay.
The world continued to turn, though, is my point.
Yes.
Number two, I would like to see Donald Trump usher in a new era of a younger politician. Be that the J.D. Vances of the world. I know he's not your favorite, but somebody like him, Rubio being like an older version of that type of thing. Gabby, obviously, I like her a lot. So bringing in a younger demographic of politician would be excellent.
Yeah,
would be excellent. Yeah. And number three, thank you to everybody who listened to us for 2 hours, 56 minutes and 9 seconds and counting.
So here's another thing. So if Trump decided to stay in office even longer, which everyone's so scared of because that was just a joke. Yeah, I mean, he knows wrestling there, Digi, and he's already beat Vince in a hair match. He could go.
Yes,
definitely will go. We'll have a cage match.
Well, and the one thing you have to respect about Donald Trump at 70, somebody help me, 78, 79, whatever years old it is.
His momentum, my God.
He never slowed down. Energy, straightforward, the Trump train was rolling. However old he is, it's 79, I think. But anyway.
But he never drinks. He never drank, never smoked. He just had that energy, that mind.
Yep.
He what? He didn't sleep for 3 days?
Yeah, that sort of thing's incredible.
What?
And he eats Big Macs for lunch like every day.
No, he doesn't. I thought you were only kidding.
No, I was dead serious. Yeah, he back in his first term,
I want proof.
He was eating Big Macs and Diet Coke. It was a big old write-up. It was probably on the fake news, though, so you wouldn't believe it anyway. I'll find it and send it to you.
Unless it's on some podcast, then I'll believe it.
Unless it's on this podcast.
This
podcast, because you heard it here. Donald Trump eats Big Macs.
There you go. I'd rather have a BK, though. A chicken. A grilled chicken BK.
Yeah, because you don't eat pork.
No, I don't eat pork or ground beef or not for at least almost 40 years now.
And it's funny I mentioned the Big Macs and this didn't come up because we want to send our audience out on a high note. How about the fact that he went to work at McDonald's and as a trash collector and he had the Make America Great on the truck? Like, I did not vote for Trump. I have stated this in a loud, clear voice.
Yes.
But his timing and his fight back, like his counter punches, his responses to what these people was brilliant. He made a big deal about the McDonald's thing.
That was so good.
And then
anything he can. Yes. Why not?
And then then the damn trash truck that they roll up and it says "Make America Great" on the side of the truck, and he's riding shotgun in the trash
Well, because
truck.
we're all garbage, and then
Yeah.
but unless you put an apostrophe over it, then you're okay. Or a comma or whatever the hell. Right? Yeah, that was ingenious. So there's that.
Newsweek talking about Donald Trump's order. I'm gonna send it to you.
Uh-oh. What happened?
About what Donald Trump eats does Donald Trump
Oh,
eat
you
McDonald's
found
every
it.
day? Oh yeah. Yeah. I knew that I wasn't making this up.
Fuck, I thought it was just a stint.
No, he eats Big Macs and Diet Coke, but he'll take the Big Macs and he cuts them apart and he takes certain stuff off of them or whatever,
Oh.
and then he drinks 2 Diet Cokes, which I know
can't
you
believe he
love.
drinks that shit.
I know you love it because he's got the aspartame and all of the other chemicals and the dyes and the
It is
whatever in
It'll
there.
kill you. It's addictive. Now, back in the day, it had real Coke in it. No wonder why everyone drank it.
For anyone that doesn't know, I got a 20-minute lecture from Madusa because I happened to be drinking a Prime one night, and then not even the energy drink, just a Prime Hydrate. And she went on to tell me about the colors in it, the dyes, why it's bad for you with the artificial flavors and the aspartame and everything. And it's ice cold and it tastes so good. And she's sitting here
When you
criticizing me.
harden up, I don't know what I'm going to give you because all the formaldehyde that you're fucking drinking is going to just warp your brain. And your smartness is going to deteriorate. So quit.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
My sarcasm won't, so we'll still be all right.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to be doing a paving the way here soon. So you got to check us out on One True Sport.
Twice tonight. You got it right twice.
I'm so proud of myself.
One
But I haven't even
Sport
been on there
True.
for a while.
Yeah, One Sport True.
Don't do that. I almost do. One True Sport.
One True Sport. We're going to find a topic for Madusa to talk about. We might talk some current wrestling. We haven't done that for a while. She loves. Britt Baker came back tonight, was wrestling, and it's Madusa's favorite female wrestler is Britt Baker.
And yours is who?
Britt Baker. Actually, it's Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné.
Mine's Mercedes Moné. I don't know.
And mine is Britt Baker.
Yeah, who is this Rhea Ripley? Why do we even want to watch her?
Oh, shut up. Didn't she get hurt? No, she didn't get hurt.
She did. She broke her eye. Orbital.
First orbital. Yeah. What is that all about?
Yeah, it's bad. But yes, we'll be back at some point. Maybe we'll do this some more. This is fun. So, Madusa and I.
Maybe not so long, but you and I have a problem.
Well, we're kicking this around too, and I'll leave it at this. That we're going to do non-wrestling topics. For instance, somebody suggested the Menendez brothers trial and all that.
Did you watch that?
Not yet, but you need to. Well, I watch it. You need to watch the Aaron Hernandez story on FX about the 27-year-old receiver for the Patriots that killed himself. That the whole is he gay? He was sexually abused. The prison, and they do the brain and all that.
The CTC.
The CTE. Yeah, 10-part
Did I say
miniseries.
CTC? I meant CTE.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
10-part miniseries.
You're shitting me. On what?
FX.
What?
FX. It's dramatized.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dramatized. So it's not exactly true. But I just I would like your thoughts on it. I think you'd enjoy it. And that goes to all of the audience too. I finished it today. It was very good.
We should do. Yeah, we'll do talks on different stuff, programs, biographies, whatever.
Yeah, how much creative license should you really take in a tragic story like that? As an example, because we know he was guilty as shit, and we know the Menendez brothers shot their parents. We know that 100%.
And they've been in prison for what? How many years? 30?
1994.
Oh,
so
not
30
that
years.
long.
Yeah, 30 years. 94.
Okay,
Tyson Paul on Friday on Netflix instead of Triller. They are testing the waters for sports, and yes, that is correct.
Oh, they're gonna go ahead and put him on Netflix.
Now, I read something that Tyson had to pass 2 tests earlier, but that might have been just some bullshit. But I'm taking Mike Tyson. I don't give a damn. He's 58 years old or 57 years old. I'm taking
that don't
Mike
mean
Tyson.
shit. I was in my prime driving monster trucks in my fucking 50s, guys. I
Yeah,
won 2 championships.
Yeah, I'm taking Mike Tyson. Legit. Greatest knockout artist boxing has ever seen, in
I
my
would love to see
estimation.
Tyson. Yeah, I mean, I want to see a good fight. I don't want no holdbacks. I want it done. If Tyson can do it in 2 rounds, let it happen.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Tyson's training videos alone? Paul don't have shit to count. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he looks like he's if it's possible, Madusa, he looks faster than he did in 1987.
Well, he's got a lot. I mean, knows he's going up to a younger kid. A lot of people are going to have eyes on him, so he's got a lot to prove. I would
Well,
too. I
and
would too. If I had ever had a big comeback in wrestling, boy, I would put myself through the ringer. I would look amazing coming back if that happened. Hell yeah.
Well, and he is like I said, he's 57 years old, but he by and large he quit partying, quit smoking, quit drinking, and he is leaned out but he still has that speed and that snap in those punches. So you couldn't pay me $1 million to take an uppercut from Mike Tyson. No, thank you.
I got a good uppercut, bitch.
Exactly,
yeah, right there, right
Hitman.
with Prime. I'm going to uppercut you with a Prime bottle.
Stop it, or we will not be going to Las Vegas together.
I'm going to take a zip tie and put a Prime around your naked feet and zip tie a Prime down there and see if you're agile enough to go down there and drink it. And if you can, I'll let you have it.
Well, I won't be having it then
because that look.
I can tell you right now, I'm not agile enough. Yeah,
that's good. Well, zip tie your feet together with the Prime in the middle, and if you can get down to that bitch and drink it, you can have it.
Yeah, not happening. Not happening.
Okay, whatever. All right, so Mendez for you, or FX for me. Yeah. And then we'll choose one. Which one we talking about? I don't know. Mendez is just so. I remember when that happened. Man,
I remember because True TV used to be Court TV, and my mom would watch that stuff after she got done and worked 12-hour shift nursing.
I'm like, those little bastards planned that.
Yeah.
God.
She watched the entire OJ trial on Court TV. I'll never
that's
forget.
another thing.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. Yeah. So everybody, this is what you're going to see in the future on this show is
what did you think about Trump taking sides with Michael Jackson and everything that happened? And I didn't know he let Michael Jackson live with him for 6 months because of all the bullshit that he went through.
I really didn't either.
Did you know Kamala tried to put him? Oh, Kamala caused him hell. Michael
Trump
Jackson.
or Michael Jackson?
No, Kamala gave Michael Jackson a lot of problems during that whole thing. She was part of the fucking problem.
Yeah, I don't think.
Look it up.
I don't think real highly of Michael Jackson, the adult, and not Michael Jackson, the pop musician.
Why?
Well, if Neverland Ranch was a real thing, I don't really have a.
He never molested any children.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time for any of that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, it was all bullshit. Interesting though. I think he was killed actually. So that'd be another.
Oh my God. As long as I get to listen to his music, we'll be okay.
Just like I think Anne Hesh was murdered. So.
Oh yeah, I remember her. She was in 6 Days and 7 Nights.
Just out of the fucking blue.
That movie.
She was in 6 Days.
Yeah, she was that movie.
I thought she was a great actress.
She was all right. Yeah.
Whatever. Instead of besides being Ellen's arm piece.
Was she Ellen's partner?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, for a long time. All right, guys. Well, those are a lot of subjects we can touch on. I love those.
Yeah, because at some point Madusa told me I hate wrestling, which means we have to talk about something other than wrestling. So.
Yeah, there we go. So it'll be a lot of that. So all right, we'll think of something paving the way. So when is War Games again?
Survivor Series.
When is that?
It's at Survivor Series, not this weekend because that's AEW, but next weekend, I believe.
We got to do something on paving the way for that. Maybe we'll save it for all that. What do you think?
You know a little something about War Games. We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a great addition, maybe number 5 to run in, but maybe not. And then if not, I could at least walk down because I know a few things that are by the.
Well, the other thing is if we talk about war games, we get to talk about Paul Heyman.
Don Marie was a ref last week?
Yes. At
For what?
ECW, NXT.
Oh, for NXT?
Mm-hmm. They did it in the 2300 arena.
Oh, in ECW.
Mm-hmm. They did an ECW themed NXT. Smoked AEW in the ratings by almost 100,000 viewers.
Really? Well, maybe that was cool. They asked Don Marie to do it.
Yeah, Don Marie was there. I think Francine was supposed to be there if she wasn't. RVD was there, of course. Bubba and Devon were there.
And that was all because of the ECW thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, shit,
Yeah.
they better call me to do Survivors. What the hell? All right. I'll be my phone is open.
You got Paul's number. Give him a buzz. Tell him.
I know.
You're available.
Yeah, whatever.
You'll
Hopefully
have
I'm in the new WWE 2K 2 whatever 25.
You'll have to go to Canada.
Okay. I
No,
like
that's where
Canada.
Survivor Series is. It's in Canada.
Oh, it's very cold.
Yeah, it's in Canada.
Oh, Canada. Oh, Tannenbaum. Do 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 do. Well, we got to. Ooh, what are you doing for Turkey Day?
Turkey.
Okay.
Actually, it's probably prime rib. I don't know yet.
And a prime drink on the side. That's
A
perfect.
prime drink. Yeah, because you know I
I
don't
want to
drink
see
alcohol.
a prime rib and a prime drink.
How offended would you be if I told you I drank Coke Zero today?
I don't know.
Is it as offensive as prime?
All that shit's nasty.
Tastes better than Diet Coke to me. But
Okay. Well, I know my husband will drink a zero once in a while, but
that's what I like is the Coke Zero.
yeah, that's what he does too if he does drink anything. And if I do drink anything, it's probably the worst shit ever. It's a Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I used to drink
I
12
do.
of them a day.
What?
I did. And before that, before I got off
Are
of
you
the
serious?
before I got on the Diet Mountain Dews, I used to drink the full flavored about 12 to 18 of those a day. You know how much sugar is in a Mountain Dew?
Well,
46
a lot of it
46
again,
grams, ma'am.
The
46
second
grams.
ingredient was orange juice. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Him and I just fucking.
We could talk all night. Thank you all for entertaining us.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for entertaining us. And we will see you soon on another subject. Just keep your eyes open on the social media. And you can catch us here and on One True Sport on Paving the Way. So until then, peace out, guys.
See ya.
That's it.